Going, everybody. That right there was the little old lady, my wife Mandy. Tomorrow is her birthday. So everybody wish her a happy birthday, if you will. Hello, Courtney Freeman. How you doing? Good to see you. That's right. It's time once again for another live stream here at the Frontier Survival channel. And like I said last week, we're going to try to do our best to do a dedicated Tuesday night live stream. Of course, every Tuesday night, and we're going to call it Frontier Tuesdays. Frontier Tuesdays Live, something like that. And we hope that it'll go over pretty well. Of course, you know, there might be times where I might not be able to do it every Tuesday night, but I'll try to do it, you know, if I have to postpone it on a Tuesday, I'll try to carry it over to the next day or something. But, yep, this here's my wife. Say hello.
Hello.
And, you know, everything's going pretty good this week. We've been doing some Christmas shopping here and there and trying to get everything bought up for everybody. And we're going to see how many people we can get here in this live stream. Try to go for a couple hours and see how everything goes. I know Caribou Country Outdoors, he's streaming right now too, so we might get a raid. Who knows? There's Mr. Burnaby Sanchez. How you doing today?
Oh, thanks.
Courtney said, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Frontier."
There's the huntsman.
Yeah, Courtney, her name's Mandy. Mandy, but I mean Mrs. Frontier, she'll probably like that too. Hello, Huntsman. How you doing? But yeah, tomorrow's her birthday. She turns the big 4-0.
Ugh. I gotta go.
She had to go on that note. Well, that's all right. At least she stopped by for a minute. That's the first time she's been on the live stream. She's been telling me she was going to try it here and there, but you never know. She might pop back in here in a little bit. There's Tom Keltish and Everything Outdoors. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, thank you very much, Tom. So far, we got 4 or 5 people in the stream here. It's doing pretty good. Hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And welcome to Frontier Tuesdays. But so far, so good. Mr. Tom Ritter is supposed to stop by and maybe drop into the chat and talk to us a little bit. Maybe have him up on panel and see how things go.
Tell him I don't always wear a scrub top.
Not sure if you heard her or not, but she says she doesn't always wear a scrub top. She is a vet tech at a veterinarian, which is my dad. But it's called Animal Care Hospital here in the little hometown we live in. And she helps with all the little fur babies. There is Odell Outdoors. How you doing tonight, brother? Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. Appreciate it.
Oh, I want to show them this so bad, but I'm afraid.
But
Do you think your dad's watching?
I have no idea.
Look.
But anyway, we're going to try to do this dedicated Tuesday night live stream, do the best we can. And as you see, scrolling down the screen there, it's going to be called Frontier Tuesdays. Well, we had a subscriber and a viewer come up with that title, and I hate to say it that I can't remember exactly who it was that came up with it, but it was last week, but I can't remember, you know, 2 minutes passed, so everything's all right. But hopefully Tom, he'll show up. We'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat. If anybody else would like to come in on the panel, they can do that. We'll paste this right here in the chat. Just hit that link and I'll invite you up on panel. If you'd like to, it's no big deal. But we appreciate everyone stopping by so far. Right now, the channel is at 479 subscribers, so we're growing somewhat every day. Views are coming, and and doing these streams is really building the watch hours tremendously. Sweet tea or coffee? Well, neither one. I know it's in a coffee mug, but no, it's a little screwdriver, so to speak. Hello, Mike Cole. How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. But right there, if anybody'd like to click that link right there, over here in the chat, to your right or left or wherever it may be, down below, you can come up on panel. If not, no big deal. But just had a eventful work day today. Of course, most of y'all know that I work at a local hardware store and lumber company, and as you would expect in the winter months, business in a place like that slows down some. But today we were pretty busy, selling a lot of hardware, nails, screws, plumbing supplies, this, that, and the other. And I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy helping people when they come in, and if they have some type of plumbing problem, they can't really figure it out. I like to help them out, at least explain to them, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this, and then they're off to the races. And of course, when it comes to plumbing, a lot of the times a person's going to make more than one trip, because they'll forget something, or they'll end up finding out they need this fitting instead of that fitting. So, it happens. Mr. Heath Webster. Yeah, hello there. How you doing? It must be something with the name and the goatees. How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. Really appreciate it. As I was telling the people earlier, I'm going to try to make this a dedicated Tuesday night live stream called Frontier Tuesdays. If you'd like, stop by every Tuesday if you can, and we'll have us a good old time. So, how's everybody's day today? Everybody had a good day, good Tuesday? Tell us in the chat how your day has been, how your week was last week. Everybody, some people here have a channel. They do videos. What's your opinion on the new YouTube Shorts? I've been thinking about doing a couple myself. A lot of people say that they've done them and they've took off. I mean, as far as views and whatnot, not really sure, but I've been thinking about, some different things, that and the other, to incorporate in some type of, vertical 60-second video. To me, it'll seem kind of odd since I use my mobile phone to turn my phone the other way. Tom Keltish says I seem pretty personable to do what I do. You mean as far as my day job, Tom? I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but I don't know. I like to be personable. I mean, of course, where I live, most of the people that come in to the hardware store where I work are people I know mostly, people in the county. Every now and again, we'll get people outside of the county and this, that, and the other, but yeah, I really enjoy it. The Huntsman said he had a productive day. Well, that's pretty good. Glad to hear it. And I had a productive day myself. Mr. Sanchez is telling Mike Cole hello. Yeah, cold damp day today for sure. Hello, Mr. Hot Wings Outdoor Life. Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. Appreciate it. Hit that like button if you will. You've done some shorts, have you, Tom? But, yeah, as far as the channel goes, I mean, we're growing some every day. I mean, I don't expect to grow huge at this overnight. Of course, I kind of only started this about this time last year, maybe a little bit before that, and I know this time last year I only had like 75 subscribers, somewhere around there. I hit 100 subscribers after January of 2020, and now I'm at 479. I mean, some channels would probably grow more than that, some don't. I don't know. It's just I just appreciate everything that happens, and if I get more views and more subscribers each day, then that's great. Greg O'Day, G.O. Bushcraft and Outdoors is in the house. Howdy, Frontier Survival. Howdy there, Greg. Good to see you. Glad you showed up. Glad you made it, buddy. Appreciate it. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, deer hunting gave a lot of people a good boost. Greg, he was telling me he downloaded, his latest or his opening day deer season video. He got 300 to 400 views in an hour or two, something like that. So that was great. That was great. But yeah, I just wanted to try to do this dedicated live stream. Here I am repeating myself over and over, but just see what happens with it. I figure if a person can try to go live the same time each week, people will get used to it, and then then there'll be word of mouth. People will invite other people to come in and listen, and this, that, and the other, and things will kind of snowball from there, hopefully. Hot Wings Outdoor Life has been on since August 22nd. Well, that's great. That's right, some do grow faster than others. It happens. I mean, I don't care really if I, grow fast. I mean, I'm appreciative for what I got so far. I never thought I'd even, I wanted to give it a try, but I never thought I'd like it as much as I do. And I do enjoy it. I mean, when it comes to a point where I don't enjoy it, then I'll probably just not do it anymore. I always was a YouTube viewer for the longest time, and I would watch all kinds of different outdoor channels and stuff. That's mostly what I watched. And, whether it be wilderness survival or rabbit hunting, I mean, I just like to watch it. And we got a lot of rabbit hunters here in Kentucky. My father-in-law, who lives next door to me here, he's got a couple beagles over there that he uses, and they're pretty good dogs. Hot Wings says, if you do short, remember to do it vertical or misses the algorithms. Right. Yeah. It has to be, in, I think they call it portrait mode, and at least no more than 60 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. There's my buddy Bushcraft Rebel Knives. Hello there, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, I got that link in the chat if you would like to come up on panel and talk about the knives you build and whatnot. But got 12 people in the chat. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty promising. Tom Keltish saying rabbit hunting is his second love for the hunting life. Yeah, it is a good sport. I mean, and sometimes it's good to just let the dogs loose and let them run. There's the wife again, trying to say hi without getting into the frame. I mean, she can sit here if she wants. She can take over the stream. I don't care.
No, thank you. I need to take a bath.
But
He's online.
like I said, rabbit hunting. I mean, it's good just to hear dogs get after them. You know what I mean? Get on a good chase. One short that you put out on Thursday has gone crazy. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I've heard, is these shorts. I guess it's just a new thing, and then people are watching them. I guess it's kind of YouTube's version of TikTok or whatever, but you know, people are watching them, and they're getting good views, and people are gaining subscribers from them, and this, that, and the other, and it's just taking off for a lot of people. Figured Tom Ritter would hop in here sooner or later. He's not made it yet, but I was going to have him up on chat on the panel here and have him talk to us and give us some words of wisdom when it comes to wilderness survival and this, that, and the other. I believe he has a wealth of knowledge for a lot of people to absorb. Look here, the Huntsman said he used the shorts and he's gotten over 300 new subscribers this past week. I'll have to check out that short you're talking about, though, Huntsman. I'm not sure if I've seen that one. I might have and just not knew that's what it was, but I'll have to check it out. Look here, the Hot Wings said he's picked up over 40 since Thursday. That's good, though. 40 subscribers in a couple days. That's not bad. Yeah, I seen that you passed 13K, and that's awesome. Congratulations. And went up to 13,170 in the past 3 days. That's even better. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. I really do. I really am glad for you. I just, you know, myself, I mean, when I hit 500, I'm probably going to jump for joy. Because at least, you know, I went from, if I can get to 500 before, say, the middle of January, then I at least went from 100 to 500 in a year. I mean, I'm sure people have gotten a lot more than that in a year, but to me, that's a good achievement for myself. Yeah, congratulations very much there, Steve. I really appreciate all that you've helped me with. Little bits of advice here and there, and you know, it's truly appreciated. And I enjoy being in your chat, your live streams. I really do. So, there is MB Heritage Farms, a great homestead channel out there. Glad you stopped by. Thanks for showing some support. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I just been introduced to this channel probably a couple weeks ago through Boxy Outdoors and Mo Homesteading, and I've watched a lot of their videos as of late, and have given them quite a few views because I've watched quite a few videos, and I've jumped in on their live streams a few times. So I appreciate you stopping by mine. Did you click the link? I'll drop it again here. Let's see what happens. I dropped it way back there. Let's see. Here it is. Hey, Tom Ritter, how you doing? After 5 Outdoors. He's in the house. Hey, thanks for stopping by after 5. Thank you very much, Cody, for stopping by, saying hello. Stick with us if you can. If not, we truly appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, there in the chat, I just dropped the StreamYard link again. I think all you have to do, okay. All right, there he is. Let's bring this young man, fella, back up here and see what happens. Hey, how you doing?
I can see myself, but I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
What is going on with this?
I just added you to the stream.
Let me try again. Hang on.
Okay. Hey, Tom.
Sorry,
I just got in.
Well, that's all right. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I had that other fella that Bushcraft Rebel Knives. He popped in there for a minute, and he said he couldn't hear me, and then he was going to try it again. So we might have another guy on panel 2 here in a little bit.
Cool.
How's your day been?
Go ahead.
Oh, I said, how's your day been?
Busy.
Yeah, mine too. I got off work at 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine ran into an emergency over the weekend. So
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
take care of all that.
Right.
Well, I'm having a bad hair day.
Hey, look here.
Oh, you got here.
A little bit. It's gray.
Yeah, you usually cut mine off. So what's the subject for tonight?
Well, I don't know. I figure we just try to just wing it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, whatever you'd like to talk about, discuss. I mean, yeah, I guess anything outdoor related, more or less. We don't even have to talk about the outdoors if we don't have to, if we don't want to. But I mean, I haven't really thought of any type of subject other than, I mean, we could, whatever might come up off the top of your head there, we can discuss or talk about or.
Okay.
I mean,
My brain's still all out there, so.
we can let the chat decide.
Yeah, there you go.
Anybody in the chat might have a subject we'd like any feedback on or whatever. Backwoods Barbarian, he's with us tonight. How you doing, Backwoods? Good to see you. Glad you stopped by.
Hey, Barbarian, what's up?
But I'll just try to catch up with the chat here a little bit.
Somebody untaped that, where is it?
There's a young man right there, Mason LaChance. He just started a YouTube channel on bushcraft and survival. He's only like 13 years old.
Somebody untaped that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to see someone that young that's still enjoying time in the woods.
Yes, sir. Anybody that is doing time in the woods.
True.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys I used to follow years ago.
From who?
That kids, they should Brave the Wild was one, and I think it was Nick Post Outdoors. He was a young guy, 14 or 15, used to do living reenactments for 1700.
Oh, really?
And then Brave the Wild was, well, that was when Canterbury first started at school out there. He was one of his first graduates. So you used to fall into a lot, but I don't know what happened to them.
I've not ever seen those channels just, maybe pop in or something like on my feed or anything. A lot of
I
times.
don't think they're active on YouTube anymore.
Right.
But there's a lot of even old guys that I haven't seen on YouTube.
Geo Bushcraft said to mute your YouTube side, something about echoing. I don't know. Do you have YouTube playing in the background? Uh-oh. I scared him off. I didn't notice any echo on Tom's side. Speakers.
And I can't knock down YouTube.
Huh?
I can't knock YouTube down or knock me off.
Oh, it says something about speakers. You got some speakers or something going? I don't get something.
Am I echoing real bad? Because I can't hear it on this side. Oh, there we go. Okay, how's that?
I don't know. I never did hear it. Well, let's see what the chat says.
Did the mirror buds work? The mirror buds work?
This is terrible.
Here's Mr. Bushcraft Rebel Knives, Aaron Logan.
Yeah, Logan.
Yeah, the sound is real strange.
It happens. It's always a work in progress a lot of times. I mean, when you're doing these streams, I mean, sometimes you might forget this, that, and the other, or this, that, but we'll get her going.
This would be right.
Sorry about that, everybody. Didn't mean to have bad echoing. Tom Kelcher said real bad. I mean, things happen, right? I mean, you can't do much about it. I mean, you can try to remedy it after you find out something's going on. Hopefully the technical difficulties will get taken care of here in a little bit. It's no big deal.
All right.
Right.
Are you still?
I don't hear it here. How's it sounding now, guys?
Yeah. Okay. I tried.
What do you think, guys? Is it better now? But
typically, if I had a computer, I could turn the speakers off on the computer with the stereo problem. But I'm not sure how to do it with the cell phone.
right.
Not still be able to hear it.
Well, Steve was saying that the echo is the mic picking up the video because it too echo because of the stream delay. I guess where I'm on StreamYard, there's a delay. I'm not sure, but.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, that's basically what it is. The microphone, it's double feeding because of the video.
I think it's all right. Is it all right now, guy? Still bad echo. Still echoing.
Echo.
I don't know. Everybody says it's still echoing. I can hear you pretty decently, but I guess that's just because.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know years ago on Hangouts,
Mm-hmm.
There was a real bad problem. If you didn't use earbuds, it'd be like, hey.
Right.
So I don't know about all the Stream Labs and everything else.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. What did you have there? Did you have some earbuds that would connect to the phone, or just earbud? Were they Bluetooth?
Just the Bluetooth.
Looks like that would help somehow. But...
They're not charged, so they're don't work.
Okay. Okay.
Just technology, the better it gets, the cheaper it gets.
Greg O'Day said you can go back to YouTube screen and mute it. Like when we're on StreamYard, if you go back to YouTube, even if it does cut you off, you can pop back on and just mute YouTube. Like if you got it on to where, the volume's up, if you just mute it, then it should cut the echo out, maybe. I don't know.
How about that?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't hear it, but we'll see what everybody else says.
They shut YouTube down.
All right, I can still see you.
Somehow or another.
Yeah, you're still there. How's the echoing now? No echoing? What, guys? Tell me. Let us know. Let us know.
Or you know to let
Do what now?
the more you know, the less you carry.
Yeah. And nobody's saying anything. I don't know. I had that Aaron Logan. I was going to have him on talking about some knives, but that he builds and stuff, and just kind of plug his channel. But I lost him somehow.
Yeah, this StreamYard stuff, it doesn't seem like anybody. It doesn't seem like it works good.
I guess not. I mean, at least not for. It's pretty decent as far as being able to have people on a panel, but they're still saying there's an echo. I don't know.
No. Well, you want me to drop off and stir it up the whole screen?
It's up to you, bub. I mean, I hate, I sure ain't gonna be mean about nothing, but that's just not how I roll. But but if you'd like to, I mean, if you want to talk to us in the chat, that's fine. If not, whatever you'd like to do.
Well, it's actually up to the people in the chat if they can't understand what I'm saying.
Right. If it's that bad, I mean, it must be pretty bad. I can understand you pretty decently, but yeah. I mean, we can try it again some other time. I'm gonna try to do this every Tuesday night.
How's that?
Like I said, I can
Somebody give feedback and let them know they can't see live chat.
I mean, this guy says there's both. See, I don't have YouTube on at all.
I don't either. So what you're saying is we don't have to have YouTube on at all.
Well, like if you had YouTube somehow running in the background somehow, if it was on the same device or maybe even a different device, it would cause an echo because of the delay. Because when we're doing it on StreamYard and they're watching it on YouTube, what we do, I guess, is like say if we was to say something, it's a little bit of a delay as far as what they get.
Okay, what I did is I shut YouTube right down.
You see, now I can hear you, but now your video's froze up.
Yeah. Well, at least it looks pretty.
Yeah, you do. Bushcraft Rebels said your microphone wouldn't come on right. Yeah, you're froze up completely now, Tom. You still with us? Tom? All right, guys, I'm not sure what happened there. I guess he froze up somehow. Can you all hear an echo when I'm talking just by myself? No, Greg, I don't have YouTube on. I mean, you know, I learned from experience in the past to not even have that on. But I will double check. I mean, I only have, you know, I'm using my laptop and the only window I have opened is the StreamYard window. Hey!
Yeah, if I shut down YouTube, I get shut down. So.
Right. Well, I mean, if there's still good echo, I don't know, maybe I'll just, you know, if it's all right with you, I'll just go at it alone and see what happens from there. I was trying to see if there was still an echo with just me on there, because I was making sure I didn't have YouTube on, but the only window I have open is the StreamYard tab on my laptop right now.
Yeah, that's the only tab I see that I have on too. All right, let me jump off. I don't want to. So.
Hey, Tom, I do appreciate you coming on, and we'll try to get things sorted out, and we'll have you on, you know, next Tuesday or something. I do appreciate it, though.
Well, no problem. Hang on a second. Let me see if audio. Speakers wonderful. Okay. Does that sound any better?
What do you think, guys? Hey, hold on a second, Tom. Oh, well, I lost him. Mr. Heath Webster gave some advice saying maybe if I put some headphones in, it might help. I was going to go ahead and try to do that. Says probably my mic picking up from the speakers of my PC. I guess that's a possibility. I mean, I don't have YouTube on. Let me go get my headphones and see what happens. I'll be right back, guys. All right, you got to enjoy the reality of live streaming, right? Let's see here. I'm going to try to do a little experiment here. I'm going to turn these Bluetooth headphones I got on and see how things work from there. I hope a lot of people are still with us. Well, let's see here. I got to connect these. Just a second. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see here. Let me do something with my phone. Okay. All right. Can everybody hear me now? Can everybody hear me well? Can you hear me? We're going to try to bring Tom back up again and see what happens.
Boom.
Yeah, I got some headphones. I don't know if that's going to help, but somebody said it might be even on my end with my speakers. But see, they can't hear an echo until I have somebody on for some reason.
Because I'm not feeding back into your microphones.
Right.
So that's... They shouldn't be getting an echo now.
Yeah, I don't hear an echo with you.
No,
What do
there's
you
a
think,
big
guys?
there's a big difference in audio now.
Right. Okay. I'll just keep them like that. Well, I got Tom back up here, Greg, so can you hear him? Can everybody hear Tom good? Go ahead and say something, Tom.
Something, Tom? Yeah, like I said, a lot of times with this audio here, it echoes from your end, not only from my end, and just makes a whole big mess.
That might be why when I had Wolf's Den on all the time, and I would hear an echo from him. See, I never did hear it with you just earlier, but I would with him, and maybe that's because maybe I should wear these headphones every time, I guess.
Yeah, but I know, like I said, we used to do Google Hangouts years ago, live streams, and yeah, if everybody didn't have a set of headphones on or something like that, it was horrible. But that would actually echo, like you would hear it like me and you talking.
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, Heath. Kind of echo, and it would drive you nuts.
Greg said, show us your neck pouch. Your neck pouch, Tom?
See if I can muster this whole thing in here. Yeah, where'd you go? Here it is. There it is. No, it's gone over there. Everything's opposite here, so it's kind of...
Right, yeah.
It's just a simpleton neck pouch.
Everybody says the echo's gone.
Oh, cool.
Everybody can hear better now. That's good.
Yeah, I started this pouch 23 years ago.
Oh yeah?
It was a tiny little pouch, and then it grew. One wore out, I sewed another one over top of it. That one wore out, I sewed another one over top of that. This one's got to be at least 15 years now.
What do you keep in it?
Well, There's a lock of hair from everybody I know that has died in there.
Oh,
From my mom, my dad, mother-in-law, father-in-law, you name it. There's a magnifying glass in it.
hmm.
There is a tooth from 3 of my past dogs.
Huh.
There's a piece of rose quartz in there that's shaped like a dog tooth. I found it fishing along the river one day. I just kind of looked down along the bank. And the odd part was on the top of it's hooked like a dog tooth. And on the very top was a piece of white quartz hooked to the rose quartz. And that's not normal, I said to myself. I picked it up and I looked at it. I said, that's got to go home on me because somebody made that. And we have where I was fishing was at the tail end of the Battle of Wyoming here back in the Revolutionary days. And they massacred a bunch of the settlers coming out of the Wyoming Valley here in Pennsylvania, right where I was fishing. So I'm thinking to myself, there was a big Indian battle here, big Indian village on the hill above the waterfalls. Chances are that, there we go. Chances are it was man-made, ground or whatever, and I took it home with me, put it in my bag, and that's where it stayed. There's a ring in there for my late wife. Piece of deer antler from the first buck I shot legally. Miscellaneous things.
Right.
That just,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
that sounds like a neat, some personal stuff, but yeah, miscellaneous stuff. I mean,
No, I carry everything that I carry a piece of everything that meant anything to me in there.
right.
So
And I'm the same way. You wasn't here earlier in the stream, but my wife, she popped in on the chat right at the first. Tomorrow's her birthday, and but I mean, I don't have a little pouch, but I got an old Army footlocker from my grandpa. He was in World War II. He was in the Army Air Corps, and he was a lieutenant, and then he worked as an attorney for a lot of years, and he was county attorney for the county he lived in here in Kentucky. But I keep every little note. I mean, a lot of times women do this, but I keep every little card, every little note that my wife ever gave me, from the past 20 years.
yeah, I got years ago, Randy Travis had a song out about it was called The Box.
I think I've heard that. Yeah.
The song was about this old farmer guy. When he died, his kids didn't think he thought very much of him, and so on and so forth. And they found this box out in the barn, and it had trinkets in it from all of his kids, and love letters and everything. I was like, that's a damn good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my own box in the back there. It's got odds and ends in it from the kids and what I call stepkids, just kids that hung around the house so long, they might as well just live there, and personal stuff from the wife and pictures, and someday I hope they find my box and go, wow, I didn't think he'd ever keep that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Greg said for me to tell my wife happy birthday. I'll do that, Greg.
Yeah, please do. I'm Mrs. Frontier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Courtney. She was in the chat there for a little while. She might still be in the watching, but Steve's wife, Courtney, she called her Mrs. Frontier.
Yep.
Her name's Mandy.
Mandy.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Mandy.
I'll tell her. She's actually in the bed right now, but I don't think she's asleep. But if you watch this in replay, you'll be able to see her there at the first of it.
Okay, well, let me try this. Hey, Mandy! She's gonna go, I hear voices. What the hell?
Okay,
So
I
that's
just
it. That's
asked.
what I carry in my pouch.
Yeah, that's
Most of all, the gear I use is the same way. It's old, it's sentimental, and all my new gear I get rid of.
right.
Literally, I had I had a camper full. I had a 9x15 camper, but just chock full of bushcrafting, camping, hunting, you name it. And
Right.
when we went to move here, I was like, what in God's name am I going to do with all this? And that started years ago because I had a bag of knives. There was 380 in there, I think, at one time, and most of them were carbon steel. And I
Mhm.
went out to check on them in the summertime, and a lot of them had rust spots on them and stuff. So every summer I'd have to take all them out, re-oil them, make sure they weren't rusting, and like I don't even use them. And I've got to maintain all this stupid stuff, so I just started getting rid of it. And then I realized, I had a Stanley Cook kit. I had I call them a Chinese cook kit. You find them on eBay for like $10, and
Mhm.
I had one of them. I had an old Billy can. I had actually one of the original Moore's pots, the Miro coffee pot type thing. I had 7 or 8 cook kits, and the only thing I ever take with me is either my Cantique cup set or I have a little solo stainless steel pot I bought back in 1991, somewhere in there.
Right.
And that's all I ever took with me. So, like, what do I need all this other crap for?
Yeah.
And now that I'm
Yeah.
not out there running the wilds every day, I really don't need. I don't need variety. I just need what I need to go hunting with, and just
Right.
for the time I spend out there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm just right now beginning to build, somewhat of a kit. I mean, but I don't see no need in having. I mean, maybe one extra set as far as cooking, but most time, I mean, I haven't really done a whole lot of, like you see, like Corporal's Corner, he has that little grill and everything out there doing his burgers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had one of them for probably 20 years. A little, not like his, but it's a little Coughlin's foldable grill, and that was the handiest little grill I have ever owned. I've used it quite a few times, and it weighs nothing. It fits flat in your backpack, and you just fold out the legs, and you got a little grill to go on.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it helps. It works a little better than maybe using a pan or some sort or whatever.
I'll tell you one thing I did pick up in a trade. I picked up a Pathfinder water bottle set, and along with that came a Pathfinder grill. It's like a tube. You unscrew to one end, and everything pulls out, and you put it together. So I got the grill, the water bottle set, and there was something else in there. Oh, a thing called a fire bowl. It looked like an old vegetable steamer.
Well,
And the Pathfinder water bottle set, I can't say enough about that. That's indestructible, and it's a great little system. That stupid grill, which I still have, well, you don't really need a lot. But
Right.
that stupid grill that I still have, it weighs about 4.5 pounds. To put it together and then actually get it over a campfire is the biggest pain in the butt I have ever experienced. I don't think they were expensive to buy on that Wilderness Outfitters page or Survival something or another page. I don't think they were expensive to buy, but boy, they're for the weight. Jeez, you can carry another canteen of water for what that little grill weighs.
are you talking about on Canterbury's Pathfinder or?
Yeah, the Pathfinder Pocket Grill or something like that it's called.
I mean, is it on
That's
Dave Canterbury's? It's some of Dave Canterbury's stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a trade with a guy over at the place called the Bushcraft Trading Post.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to find other gear.
Right.
Sometimes you wind up with stuff that you wouldn't believe. But I ran into a guy over there. I had a knife or two that he really wanted. So I said to him, what do you have for trading? He said, here. And he had a Pathfinder set and that grill and that firebowl. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I heard a lot of hype about it, never used it. Turned out to be one of my favorite pieces of kit next to my canteen set. But
Yeah, I think
that grill, but
Oh, I saw he calls that company, I guess, that he sells gear from is it's called Self-Reliance Outfitters or something like
that's
that.
it. Self-Reliance Outfitters. Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal piece of gear. Not just because it's Pathfinder set, but just because of the way it's set up with the cup, the lid, the cooker, everything. It's a really nice set. But that grill weighs way too much to be carrying.
Right.
Because I thought about it after I got rid of my little Coghlan's grill, and I was like, that weighed ounces. This weighs pounds. So I kind of kicked myself in the butt for that one, but yeah, what can you do? But that firebowl concept, that was a pretty good concept, using the old vegetable steamer.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good concept because you really can't melt it. It doesn't warp or anything, for the small campfire to cook on or whatever. That was a really nice concept because out in the leaves and stuff, you didn't have to worry about starting fires. It was right there in the bowl, the steamer. If it was windy, you could just fold the sides up a little bit. It was a nice concept.
Seems like it would be.
Most
Greg wanted to know what your dog's name is.
Oh, I didn't even see him back there. That's Chub Chubs.
Chub Chubs.
There he is.
He popped his head up. He popped his head up when y'all. Yeah.
That's my attack chihuahua.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can come in the house. Don't try to leave because he'll bite the back of your legs every time.
Well, he likes visitors.
Yeah, he practices on them every now and then. But yeah, that Pathfinder set, like I said, I'm not hyping it up because it's a Pathfinder set because I just don't like that.
Right.
But the way it's arranged, and to be honest with you, you can honestly go on eBay, put the components together yourself. It just doesn't have a Pathfinder logo on it.
Right.
For about not much less than what Dave sells them for, but you can get them for less.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to go with different components, like, you don't have to go with the clean canteen water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go with, that particular type of stove and everything. You could probably put one together for about $25, but especially if you go with the Tom Shoe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Tom Shoe makes a cup that's comparable to the Pathfinder cup with the lid and everything on it.
Right.
That I like it. But like I said, you don't have to necessarily go over there and, spend, what do they want, $64, $65 for that set? But like I said, that grill, I've got it in the closet. It sits there. And unless I'm going somewhere and I'm in my car, then I'll just use it for heating up coffee or something, fishing alongside of a lake or whatever. Outside of that, I don't even use it. And it really is such a pain in the butt to put together. It's not even worth doing that. Yeah, you got to screw all four legs in. The tubes have got to be put together just right to be able to put the run of the the grill in it,
Yeah.
and you got to bend them to get them into place. And then if they warp from the fire, they're hard to get out, and they do warp from the fire. They're hard to get out, and putting the whole thing back together, because you got these rungs that are all bent and wiggly, and you got to stuff them in this one tube, put that tube inside. It's a pain.
Right.
So
Well, it seems like I either seen something similar to that or it's the exact same one. But I seen someone try to put it together, and it looked like it was a little bit difficult than what it should have been.
Like I said, that Coghlan's one, I think when I bought it, it was like $3.95.
Jerry's Woodshop said his favorite items Dave sells is canteen and water bottle.
Yeah, the canteen set is nice. I've used the canteen set for years. I enjoy my canteen set. I have the lid and everything for it. And like I said, if it wasn't for I got it in a trade, I would have never had one. Because I just don't go out by hype like that. But
Right.
what I did use for years was I bought a GSI cup from Walmart. I think they were $4 or $4.95. And I had a stainless steel water bottle I got at I think it was Goodwill for $1. It fit inside the cup. And then I was thinking about it one day, and I went and bought another cup, and I made a stove out of that one. So, I had all the components I needed, and this one happened to come along, and it's a nice set.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of stuff from like Goodwill and consignment.
Oh God, yeah. Most of my, well, even to this day, most of my hunting clothes come from there because I don't see any sense in like the bibs that I use.
I've been in the past watched a few of your videos, and I think there's one on there where you speak of that, going to yard sales and stuff like that to find weird.
Yeah, when I was younger, we used to hit the yard sales a lot. My late wife was alive. Boy, I come across some deals that were just. I picked a K-bar knife up one time, a folding hunter. Stag handles on it, carbon blades. I paid $25 for it. I was like brand new.
Wow, that's great.
That same yard sale, I bought a Camp King, an old Imperial Camp King for $25. There was 2 mini bread loaf pans that I got for 10 cents a piece, and I think there was, they look like stainless steel shot glasses. I'm not sure what they were used for, but like cocktail sauce cups. I got them for $0.10 a piece, and I used them for years. But Goodwill's in them, man. You can't. I found brand new like combat boots, military boots. Brand new tags on them for $10 in a Goodwill. Belts, leather goods. The bibs that I use for deer hunting, I found them. They were $10. They were brand new Wall Zero Zone with tags on them.
Right.
So you can't go wrong. You just got to keep searching and looking.
Oh yeah. Most
But,
definitely.
miscellaneous water bottles, wool socks, knives, all kind of happy crap you can find.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've even found military issue, a lot of military like BDUs and everything.
Yeah, they used to have a lot of them.
I mean, you
Not
don't have
so
to go
much
to a surplus.
Not so much anymore, but Salvation Army used to be loaded with military surplus. My first wife used to go out in the woods with me constantly. And I picked her up an entire hunting outfit, including a military harness set at the Salvation Army here.
Yeah.
That was back years ago, but and I don't know where she's at or if she still has it, but till the day we broke up, she was still using the same set. What the hell else did I find there? I found a 10x10 oilskin tarp there one time. I didn't buy it because it was like, what am I going to do with a 10x10 tarp? And when I went back for it was gone. And there was some other like really major finds. Oh, I found a cook set there a couple of years ago. Last year, I think it was, for $1.49. A solid stainless steel. Had a frying pan that sat over the billy can. It had another smaller pot or a cup, whatever you want to call it, in the middle. It was $1.49. So it was basically everything you could use.
Yeah, this is a great place to find stuff. I mean, I'm a firm believer in, anything cheap you can find, get it. I mean.
Yeah, there's, me and Steve and everybody's talked about this more than once. There is no sense going out there and spending, oh God, you could spend $2,000-$3,000 on an initial kit, buying the latest, the greatest. There's no sense in it.
No.
It doesn't work any better than, generic.
That's true. I mean, if you, a lot of people say they want, like say a pack, and like I've heard Steve even say it, as long as it holds it, that's the only pack you need. I mean, it doesn't have to be, with molly webbing and, and
I've got a World War II Musette bag, which is a little bit bigger than a haversack, but a little bit smaller than a day pack.
Mm-hmm.
That I've used for years. It was my dad in World War II, and I've used that for years to go everywhere in America. I've got outdoor gear, I think it's called. It's a Walmart brand.
Mm-hmm.
A day pack that I've been using for the last 5 years, and it goes deer hunting with me every year. That's what it is. It holds your stuff. Go to the Salvation Army, buy a JanSport.
Right.
They're lifetime warranted and they're tough as nails.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. As long as you get something with good stitching and decent zippers and whatnot. I mean.
Yep. Yeah, even as far as packs are concerned, I've been through a gambit of packs.
Mm-hmm.
Alice packs, large, mediums, mini Alice packs they used to make.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? There was a bunch of tactical packs that I used. Comfortable, but just
Right.
By the time I packed up my stuff, I had half of a backpack that was just not used.
Right.
Same thing with my Alice pack. I used to pack that up for a weekend, and then by bedding everything in there, the main compartment would be used up. The 3 little ones on the outside, there was nothing in.
Right.
So there, my first years in the woods, I did on a military harness set.
Mm-hmm.
And you just a butt pack on there.
Right. I got an Alice pack, which I've used it a few times. I mean, I like to use it if I'm going to go, actually go camping or be out for a while, but I just got a small day, like if I'm going on day hikes, just a small day pack, just to hold the minimal stuff. And if I happened to get stuck out there for some reason, then I'd have at least something, to stay overnight.
Well, that's the thing with that Pathfinder water bottle kit. That, like my canteen kit is nice. I've used them for years. But you have that pouch to put it in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where that Pathfinder bottle set, on the outside of the pouch itself is molly webbing.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I was able to attach a small survival kit, which I have enough emergency stuff in there that I'm not going to die tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a whistle, a flashlight, a compass, a spare blade, ferro rod, matches, a small fire kit, 3 Mylar blankets, along with an emergency poncho and the rope to put it up,
Mm-hmm.
and waterproof matches. that all fits in one little kit, and on the front pouch of that Pathfinder kit, I have my my coffee and the little stuff like that.
Right.
So when I carry that out in the woods with me, I've got everything I need to where if for some unknown reason I got lost, 200 yards under the woods,
Mhm.
I'll be okay for tonight.
Oh yeah.
Not that I wouldn't be anyway, but just as insurance. Like me and Steve was talking one night, as long as you can get a fire going, you're okay.
Yeah.
Just curl up behind a tree so the wind's not hitting you and build a fire in front of you and you're good. But, that's outside of that. I mean, that harness set I used to carry had the butt pack that carried my main of everything. And then I had the two 30-round ammo pouches that held a fire kit. The one side was a fire kit, the other side held my ammo. They usually carried the 22 or the 410, so I stocked up on ammo for the weekend.
Right.
And I just nobody told me you weren't supposed to do anything like that, so I did it. It's like everything else. We all watch YouTube and stuff, and we're all influenced by what they say you have to do. Well, guess you really don't.
No.
All you have to do is go do it.
True. And that's just like, which Steve talks about it a lot. Some of these channels out there that you could tell that they're not. I mean, they're not actually out there for however many days and this, that, and the other. And it's a shame that that they want to. And all they're they're pretty much doing the opposite of what we're talking about as far as getting the gear that's just outrageous. Of course, they're plugging that gear and this, that, and the other. And the Hidden Woodsman and the Wazoo Survival stuff. And
I was watching Really Big Monkey one a couple of weeks ago. He got some stuff from the Hidden Woodsman.
Mhm.
And he was going through it. It's some kind of special ATAX pattern or something. And Dave's a decent guy. He doesn't play much with his reviews.
Yeah,
but he went through this. He went through this whole pack from the Hidden Woodsman, and he said it was $220. And I'm thinking to myself, I've never in my lifetime owned a $220 pack to beat through the woods.
Right.
I've never owned a $220 pack for that matter.
Right.
Just something to hold your stuff in and run around and through the woods in the muck and the mire. It better be clean too.
Yeah. Speaking of Really Big Monkey, he's the largest channel as far as subscribers go that's actually subscribed to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave's a cool dude.
Yeah, I've chatted with him a few times. I mean, just kind of through the YouTube comments and stuff like that. And I mean, I like his personality real well. I mean, as far as just the way he does his videos. Yeah. Like, hey, everybody.
Yeah, he's got a personality.
Yeah.
When I first got on YouTube years and years ago, there was him and Karen Shaky. And we got talking one day between the three of us, and Dave said to me, why don't you open a YouTube channel? So I have no clue how. He said, go out and shoot a video. I got a camera that'll do it. He said, okay, go shoot a video. And he said, get a hold of me when you get home. All right. So I called him, or I didn't call him, I messengered him. And at that time, he had personal messenger on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, okay, now this is what you do. You load this into this, do that. And he walked me literally from doing the video to getting it on my computer to putting it up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I can't say enough about the guy. He was that patient.
Right. And he seems to really enjoy, the whole, to me, he seems like he does. He doesn't seem like he's out there just for a commercial aspect of it or anything like that.
No, you know, he doesn't get sponsored by anybody either. All that stuff
Right.
that you see in his gear room and stuff.
It's just
When I
personal
first
gear.
started watching Dave, he had a small storage shed. Small one, like an 8x8. And he used to do most of his videos and stuff out of his garage, and there was always like a car being restored in it or something. And then one day he decided to make a knife, and he made his own knife and whatnot. But he was, you know, that gear room, as he calls it, there wasn't much in it. There was, you know, just some stuff that he's used over the years.
And now it looks like a military surplus store.
Oh, God, I'd love to be let loose in there for a while.
Yeah. He
No.
loves olive drab.
I was talking to him one time, and he's like, what you see in the gear room is only a third of what I got. He said it's, you know, he's got to pack the way in boxes and bags and duffel bags full of clothes and all kind of happy stuff. I was like, geez, Dave, you know, have a yard sale, get rid of half of your house.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He hangs on to everything he gets. So, you know, I remember when Nick, his son, was only 13 years old.
Right.
Just a little kid used to go tramp behind him and his dad out in the woods. But I'll tell you, that is a really good channel. If you go on there, you got to look way back in the archives on his videos.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Survival Vacation,
Hmm.
where he went out on a 5-day vacation
Mm-hmm.
because he thought it was going to be cool.
Right.
Survival.
Mm-hmm.
Just took a knife and that was it. He was going to survive in Georgia for a week in the swamps.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, he said he would never do it again.
Okay.
And it would give you an honest idea, you know, just your average bushcrafter walking out in the woods to do a 5-day whatever,
Mm-hmm.
what they would look like at the end of 5 days.
Right.
Now, Dave being as experienced as he is,
Mhm.
I'm sure you heard the stories about, you know, Flathead and Big Nose and all
Oh,
them
yeah.
guys.
Right.
Being as experienced as he is, if it kicked his butt in 5 days, these little boy toys that are out there that, you know, oh, I've been out here for 15 days and he's not even dirty,
Mm-hmm.
won't just take your little subscribe button and press it and get the hell out of there because he's
Right.
filming in his backyard.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing I've learned over time, like I said, from that one video, and I know from doing it myself for weeks and months on end, you can't stay out there more than 3 days without getting covered with soot and dirt and ash, and even if you get under the
Right.
creek and mush every day, your
Right.
clothes
I
are
mean-
going to get dirty. You're going to get tired because, to be honest with you, it takes about 4 days to get used to sleeping in the woods. It's just a change of atmosphere, to change the noises at night and stuff. It takes a while to get used to. And just watch what he looked like at the end of 5 days.
Mm-hmm. You know for a fact that he was actually
Yeah.
doing it.
And I mean, he had the equipment. He had mosquito nettings and everything else he took with him that
Right.
he was still mosquito ridden. Clothes was torn. He was muddy. He was dirty. He was so tired his eyes are actually sunk into his head.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that.
Might even look like a little bit thinner. Who knows?
He did. He lost weight. You can see it on that video if it's still up there.
I'll have to go back and check that one out. I mean, I've watched a few of them. I mean, even before I started a channel. I mean, he was probably one of the first people I watched. There were some channels I watched that I don't watch anymore, of course. But
Yeah.
I just learn better. But
There's
yeah,
a few
I always
actual survival channels that I've come to watch over the years. That's no BS, and you can actually learn something from them.
right. I mean,
One of
that's-
them is
that's
Far. Sorry,
Oh, go ahead. Far North.
Far North Bushcraft and Survival.
Yeah.
Lonnie and his wife
Yeah.
Connie.
Yeah, I
They
watch
don't-
him too.
They don't just bullshit. They walk the walk and they talk the talk.
Right.
And Oh yeah, Survival Russia.
I've
I've
seen him.
been watching Lars since he was the Moscow prepper. The guy lives in Siberia, and they homestead in Siberia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a mold type guy. He had a whole series of reality survival, I think is what he called it, where he just told you the truth,
Right.
And if I kind of stuck with them two guys as far as years of watching when other channels dropped off,
Mm-hmm.
or other channels went commercial too. Like Canterbury had a really good channel when he first came on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't, they didn't have they had a business going, but they wasn't real big into it. And when he went out in the woods, he was out in the woods.
Yeah.
And of course, you got to make a living sometimes. And if that's the way you choose to make your living, you got to do all its sponsorship. But like I tell everybody too, guys like Dave Canterbury and Corporal's Corner, there's a couple other guys through the years, Coal Cracker Bushcraft,
Mm-hmm.
they not only make their living doing this. So, yeah, if they're buying a $200 tarp, but they're going to use that $200 tarp 250, 300 days a year.
Right.
Yeah, buy good. For us average people, you don't need a $250 tarp.
Right. No. As just about every one of Dave's instructors have a channel. I mean,
Yeah.
Sean of Corporal's Corner, he's an instructor there. I don't know. Have you heard of Black Hat Bushcraft?
Yeah, Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt. And then, of course, I like the gray bearded Green Beret though. He's pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty knowledgeable.
Josh's school ain't too far from me here. He's about 3
Oh,
hours. Yeah, he's about 3 hours north of me.
But I
But,
like his.
Dave's gone through a lot of instructors through the years,
Mm,
and they've all had channels, and they've all made it good.
right.
Well, Dave knows the ins and outs, and I'm sure he tells them, and they do what they do. But like Jamie Lee Burley and
Mm-hmm.
Sarge Ferrier, yeah, and Coal Cracker Bushcraft, Dan Wolak. There was another Jamie on there when he first started a channel on. That kind of kid kind of just fell off the face of the earth. But there's a bunch of them that they're all very knowledgeable channels. They're all good channels. Snowwalker Bushcraft.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about you getting into the reenacting one time.
Mm-hmm.
He's got probably one of the best channels out there for reenactment type people. It's Snowwalker Bushcraft.
Yeah, I've
But he
seen
not
him.
only shows you,
I'll have to check
Go
it
ahead.
out.
well, he not only shows you the stuff, but he also shows you how to make a lot of stuff too.
Right.
So it's, and Brian was very innovative to what Dave teaches now at the school too. But these guys, I can't say they don't know their stuff, and I can't say anything but, the fact of the matter remains they do it as a living.
Right.
If they want to buy, I don't know, like I said, 10 Smith's $200 tarp and a hidden woodsman ruck and stuff like that. That I understand. It'd be the same thing as you and I being contractors. We don't want to buy a dollar store shovel.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the hardware store and get a True Temper that's going to last you 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Same thing with these guys. They all have custom knives. They all have the best of the best. But like I said, they've got schools. They're out there using them, blah, blah, blah. For the average Joe, I wouldn't spend the money that I see these guys on there all the time spending.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And me and Steve discussed a million times that, God, these channels, some of these guys go out there with 80, 90 pounds of gear on their back for an overnighter. Yeah,
Oh,
they do that too.
here's the beginning of that. He said he used to go in the woods with a pocket knife, 2 wood stick matches, and a pewter cup for a couple of days. Came back home minus 1 wood match.
Yeah. I put a tag out. Nobody's done it yet. I don't know why, but I did put a tag out a few months ago of that was called my dad's kit tag. And my dad used to carry a book of matches, 5 hooks, a couple of sinkers, toilet paper, and fishing line wrapped around the matchbook. And he'd go for days. Gone. You know, Mom, where's Dad? Oh, he's gone on one of his trips. Oh, okay. So I don't get much on, you know, how many years have I done it when we were kids that I pack everything up in a blanket roll. I had an Imperial fish knife. I still have it. That was my main knife. I'd be gone for days. Nobody told us that wasn't the stuff he should have had, so we made it work.
Right.
I mean, now you tell somebody I'm going, you know, for a weekend, overnight, whatever you call it, with an Imperial fish knife, they'll look at you and go, oh my God, you know, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Didn't die back then. Matter of fact, a couple of the camping videos I have on my channel, literally, I'm walking around without a knife because that's the knife I had on me. I had an Imperial fish knife in my pocket. I got through the weekend camping with it. Now my
Hey, Greg was asking, what that channel again that says something about that Coal Cracker has on reenactment? I think he was talking about that Snow Walker, right?
Coal
Is that the
Cracker
reenactment?
has some on there.
Oh,
Yeah, he has some reenactment stuff on there, but Snow Walker Bushcraft is the name of the channel, and he's got a bunch of stuff on there. That's when he goes out bushcrafting and stuff. He goes 17th century, and that's trying to think of that other guy. Just ran into a guy recently. Literally, he did his deer hunt this year. He's from Pennsylvania, but he did his deer hunt this year with the flintlock, dressed in the period correct stuff. Oh, man.
he's from Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but I'll put it up someday when I find out who he is. He's in my subscriptions. I know that. I just can't remember his name. Blackie Thomas over at Shaman's Forge had a lot of not showing reenactment kit, but a lot of this is like wool blankets.
Mm-hmm.
He has a whole series on wool blankets, right up from the like World War II Army blanket to the 7 or 8 pound blankets.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to Blackie. I like it. I like his stuff too.
Blackie's a knowledgeable man. I don't know why he's only at 24,000, but
Even though he's had somebody build his own haversack, which I don't guess that's a big deal. I mean, he's trying to make some money off of it. But have you seen that?
yeah, the Blackbird, I think it's called.
Blackbird haversack.
Yeah.
But he made the which is kind of cool. He made the whatever, I can't think of the term for it now, but
Strap.
the part that goes over your strap. Hollow. It's hollow, so you can store like a bucksaw, blade or whatever in it. And,
That was an old trick with like regular canvas haversacks that you bought.
right.
You cut the bottom of the strap just enough to fit the saw blade in, but usually you ruin the strap because they're not as They're not wide enough to really fit the saw blade.
Right.
That was an old trick. That and putting it behind your belt, around your waist, running it around the small of your back behind your belt. Either way, any way to carry them is cool. But yeah, he did it, that haversack. What he carries in that haversack, I mean, is everything you'd probably need for a weekend.
Right.
But as we always said, he knows his stuff, and he's been doing it long enough to where he knows exactly what he needs.
Yeah. What's your view on using a hammock out in the woods?
Oh yeah, for indoors, World War II hammocks or blankets are great. But if you want to improve that blanket a little bit, take a cotton sheet and sew it to the backside, or a nice piece of fleece is great yet too. Put a nice piece of fleece on it, and that blanket will be 4 times warmer. Hammocks, I've had 2 of them. I've had a canvas one, and I've had a handmade one was made by Mountain Gear Products, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I'm bragging or anything, I didn't buy them. These were traded for.
Right.
And the one by Mountain Gear, I mean, it was a great hammock. It had a tree hugger straps with it. It was everything, like that war bonnet everybody talks about. But when I got in it, the 2 sides folded up over my head.
Mm.
It's just one big old burrito hanging in a tree. Now, if I was a normal person, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I have one stiff leg and I don't move so well.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't get my legs out of the burrito fold to get out to the sides and, hold the thing open till I sat up or anything like that.
Right.
I couldn't swing out of it because it was too deep, and the fold over the top, I couldn't hold up long enough to get my legs out. So I was literally like, I was pulling a Mr. Turtle in the middle of the yard, wrapped up in a sleeping bag or a hammock that decided to swallow me. So, worst case scenario, I rolled the stupid hammock over, fell out the bottom. That's how I got out of my hammock.
Right.
And then I tried using it for a chair one day because the canvas one was a little bit shorter. That was an 11-foot hammock. The canvas one was only a 7-foot. And I seen these guys setting it up as chairs. I was like, I'll try that. So I strung it between 2 trees, and I sat on the edge and sank myself in, and everything was going good right up until the time I had to get out of it. And then I couldn't get my feet on the ground and get enough momentum to get up out of it. So once again, turn the hammock over, fall out on the ground. So I'm not too happy with hammocks.
Yeah. I've
But the
never used it.
concept-
That's just
The concept is good.
right.
I always looked at it like this. I got to carry a tarp for over the top of me.
Right.
Got to carry the hammock. I got to carry an underquilt. I got to carry an overquilt. I got to carry my bag. I got to carry tree hugger or any kind of strap to put it to the trees. Okay. I take a tent. I shove it in my backpack. Put my sleeping bag in there. Well, nowadays they're sleeping pads. Years ago we really didn't have them. But I carry 2 pieces of gear instead of 7 pieces of gear.
Right.
Then I sleep. Never made any sense to me.
I understand. Yeah. Anti-At-Jack, he asking us if we've heard of the Bertram Craft and Wilderness YouTube channel. I've not heard of that.
I've heard of Bertram Bushcraft, but not Bertram Craft and Wilderness Survival channel. It might be the same channel, just switched names.
Right. I have to look that up, I guess.
There's a lot of them on there. I mean, good God, you can.
Oh,
I
yeah.
go researching channels all the time, and you hit the guy that wants to do the Fatwood Friday and the Fire It Up Tuesday and the Canteen Cup Monday or whatever the hell it is.
Who
And then
is
you
it
hit
that
the
does
guy
that?
you hit the guy that's standing there in ripped up clothes that looks like somebody just threw mud on him. And he's like, I've been out here for 5 days. I'm going to watch the 5-day guy.
Yeah. This young man here, Mason, the one that just started, he said he likes Joe Robinette. Hey, it's all been through the chat. I'll show you some of these other. Scott Howard told him that Joe is a pretender.
I had a video out years ago that said, you watch who you want to watch, no matter what there are. If you can connect with them and you can learn from them, then learn from them.
You're right. You're right.
But there are some people in this world, like, Bear Grylls and a couple other guys that, they're not credible. So I try not to learn from them because they're probably learning from somebody else as the show goes on. Now, Joe, I had a problem with since he's been on alone.
After losing the ferro rod?
Yeah. Well, on loan he was Joe Prophet.
Right.
Why, I don't know.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And after he came off of a loan, he was on a Facebook group, and he was crying the blues about the fact that, he's an experienced bushcrafter, lost his ferro rod. He was, down in the dumps, and I used to talk to him on a daily basis, and it'd be like, hey, Joe, it could happen to the best of us, man. We just have a momentary lapse of conscience. Just take that as a learning experience, that when you use something, put it right back. Don't set it down. Doesn't matter if you're trying to do it quick. Fast is slow. Or slow is fast, I should say. What do you
JV
say?
says, JV is saying, oh, geez, it's Freddie and Jason.
Ah.
But, yeah, Anti said that on that channel he was talking about earlier a while ago, it's a name change. Or it's the same channel, changed names.
I used to watch Bertram Bushcraft. He was a cool dude. I liked him. If I'm not mistaken, he was from England, though. If I'm not mistaken, that was a couple of years ago, but anyway, I used to talk to him, and one day he just poofed out of the thing. All of a sudden, he showed up as Joe Robinette, and I was like, no, that's Joe Prophet. Like, no, that's Joe Robinette. Well, what the hell's going on here? Now, if the guy's messing with his name and everything else in it, he never talked to me another day after that. And then, I used to watch him. It was, I watched.
I mean, I've watched him. I mean, I've watched his channel. I can't say I haven't because I would be lying. But I mean, after a while, you kind of see some things, this, that, and the other.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I used to watch him, and he did a 7-day solo canoe trip, I think it was. And after the 4th day, that boy looked as fresh as a daisy. There was nothing dirty on him. None of his gear was dirty. And I was like, wait a minute. Something ain't right here. And then later on, he did another one for 10 days, and same deal goes there. He's not tired. He's not dirty. He's 6 days into it, and it's like, there's something's not right here. Because I don't know one person in my life that go out there for 6 days and not look a little tired or dirty. So I started watching other things, and it just, nothing fit right then. And then he started sponsoring everything, and it's like, well, he's just in this to make money. And then I used to watch another channel. It's called Prepare Mind 101.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Tanner. Arrogant little guy, but cool. He did a video one time. He was talking about being in the Colorado Rockies, and they're out in the mountains, and you swear to God, there was snow all over the place, and these big cliffs that, And he said, now watch how people distort the truth. And he turned the camera around and he was standing in the creek right behind his house. You would have never known the difference if he didn't turn that camera around.
Mm-hmm.
That put a kibosh on my head as far as YouTube channels. Then I started watching, for everything. Like, you got a guy that's kneeling down in snow and mud one day. This is day 2 of his survival challenge, and his knees aren't dirty. You were sitting in the mud yesterday.
Right. Now, a lot of my videos take place right here at my house. And, of course, I'm in my house right now. But, I mean, I have the woods that surround my house, so I can go 300 yards up a hill and be in the wilderness, but I'm still in my backyard, so to speak. But I don't say that I'm 100 miles away either. I tell people where I'm at.
Well, it's like most of my videos. Where I used to live, if I walked out my door, was 100 feet to be in the woods.
Right.
So literally, when I walked out into the woods, I was literally in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And if I went a half a mile in the woods, I was still in my backyard because I probably had the stumps named that was cut down 100 years ago.
But I mean, you don't have to be 1,000 miles away in the wilderness to do a YouTube video about bushcraft and survival.
Oh no, I pitched the whole scenario years ago that do it in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new, especially if you're new to this, or you get a new piece of gear,
Mm-hmm.
test it in your backyard. Because I went out, I had a Boy Scout canvas pack that I bought in a Boy Scout canteen. I just liked the looks of them. I was like, okay, we'll try these out. My late son had hurt himself. He broke his back, and I was like 3 months into helping him, and I was stressed to beat the band. And my wife said to me, go camping. Get the hell out of this house. It's all right. Packed the pack up, grabbed the tarp, brand new tarp. I took off over where I normally go camping. And I'm walking through the woods. And if I remember right, the first thing that happened is the strap ripped off the pack. Never had this pack packed up. It's brand new. So I get over, set up my camp, put the tarp up and everything, staked it all down, put it in a nice plow point. And one of the stakes let loose. Poof! Tarp goes up in the air and it's coming floating down like a parachute. I thought the stake let loose. No, the whole grommet ripped right out of the tarp. The tarp was dry rotted. So I'm thinking to myself, this is the camping trip from hell. Put it back up again. Did it a different way. It ripped through again. So that, by this time it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'm all ready to chew the bark off of a tree. My pack is broke. The tarp is broke. So I said, to hell with it. I basically sat down and made a burrito out of myself in the tarp. I'm going camping one way or another. And it just got too much. I left that night at like 12 o'clock. I was like, I can't do this. So on the way out of the woods, I heard ka-tunk on the ground, and the stupid canteen strap broke because the stuff was old and dry rotted. But there I'm in the woods with one strap on my pack, the tarp rolled up underneath the other arm and carrying the canteen. And my wife said to me, "What are you doing home?" Don't ask. You really don't want to know. And I did a video the very next day. If you get new gear, test it in your backyard.
Right.
I sit back and I laugh about it nowadays, but at the time it wasn't very laughable. I've done that with a couple of knives too. That whole batoning crap. You can feed your knife through what it's not supposed to go through.
Right.
And I've been out in the woods, half a mile out in the middle of nowhere. Hey, these guys do this, clink, clink, tack. And I got a handle in one hand, and the rest of the knife is stuck in a piece of wood that I could have just burnt the way it was.
Yeah.
So, between what I knew and what YouTube started back in like 2008, 2009, I learned a lot of new stuff. And as I'm learning the new stuff, I'm using the new stuff I'm learning, I'm realizing that this is retarded.
I tell you what, have you seen that latest? I think it's one of the latest of Cold Cracker's videos, where he's making bushcrafting a pulley system.
Oh yeah.
He made a pulley and then used the bow drill method as far as burning, like drilling into that piece of wood, by burning into it.
That's an old method.
Right.
Not only did the bow drill wasn't only used for starting fires with, it was used to make holes to put wooden pins in when they're constructing stuff. You put a piece of rock on the end of your bow drill that was used to drill holes, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole bow drill thing was used for a lot of different uses.
Right.
Especially like the double wrap method. If you had something you really needed to get through, that gave you enough tension on that bow to where it really spun that spindle.
It usually gets pretty quiet.
Okay, give me a second here, guys.
Okay.
Clear my ceiling for a second.
And while he's doing that, I'll be right back too, guys. Just hang on, chat amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I appreciate you.
There you go. This is what
I'll be
happens
back
when
in
you get old and shitty.
Talk to him, Tom. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. Hi, Tom. Oh, I'm Tom. Talk to okay. Listen, guys, I can't see on the live chat, so just from who I heard was in here, hey, Anti and Rick and Steve and a bunch of other guys I haven't met yet, but I'd like to someday. I can't even answer any questions you might have because I can't see the live chat. But yeah, you're right. Once you start asking people, what do you do once you get above the tree line and everything else, it goes pretty quiet because most people don't travel that far. Most of your bushcrafters, like here in Pennsylvania, I used to be on an SAR team, or Search and Rescue Unit. And literally the statistics are that most of your hunters don't go more than a mile in the woods. So, we used to do our searches for deer hunters and stuff. We usually ended it at a mile and a half because most guys don't go that far. You walk a mile in the woods, it feels like you walk 5 miles on the road. They just don't realize how not far they are in the woods. Now, when I was a kid, we had a mountainous area here. It's been recently bought out by the local mogul around here. And it had a 3.5 mile section that you could walk 2 straight over the mountain. That's only 3.5 miles. And we've had people that's taken 3 and 4 days to complete it because it just seems, if you walk a half mile in the woods, it seems like you've walked forever. So most people really don't get above the tree line or really far out there because when they figure they're far out there, they're really not. Now, I will say this, though. A half a mile in a deep woods is really all you need if you really want to experience wild camping. Half a mile in a deep woods is far enough from most humanity to where it'll give you that I'm way alone feel. Because this mountain that I'm talking about, it was 3.5 miles one direction and 4 miles across, like from the bottom to the top and over to the other side. And you got in the middle of that, which would, it would take you like an hour and a half. Oh, sure, Troy. Go watch the football game. But anyway, it'd only take you like an hour and a half to get out in the middle of this, carting all your gear in, but you were so alone, but yet you weren't. You're only, a mile from civilization either way. But you felt like you were so alone because the trees out there, The trees were virgin timber. And where we're used to, our 6-8 inch round trees, I'm talking trees you probably could have hollowed out and lived in the backside of this mountain where they never logged. And there was this one big beech tree. The two limbs, like the trunk was here, two limbs came out and they swooped up. There was two of them right together. And I could get into the tree off the bank of the railroad tracks that was there. So if you got out into the tree, you just crawled out on them two branches. You didn't have to worry about falling out. So over the course of time, I reinforced it with some climbing rope and whatnot I had, and made like a little net between the two branches that were stuck there. And it was a fun place to go. Didn't have to worry about bear or anything. Yeah, I mean, that's what we were told, field guide. It was, the average deer hunter don't go more than a mile. And we've really never found anybody that was less or over a mile. It was usually under 3/4. Ha to you too. Now, search and rescue, that was a unit I would advise anybody to get into if you have a local search and rescue at your fire department or whatever. Or, another outlet that people don't seem to realize nowadays is a unit called the Civil Air Patrol. It's an auxiliary unit of the Air Force. And they go through survival training. They have survival courses, ranger schools, airborne school. I think they still have. And you can learn a lot about survival and just getting out in the wilderness and whatnot. But you're not paramilitary at that point. You are with the military organization. So if you're running around in the woods with your camouflage on, people can't give you a hassle. But I taught survival courses to the Civil Air Patrol, and I was in the Civil Air Patrol for quite a few years. If it's something that might interest you, check with your local Air Force recruiter. It's a good unit. Teach you a lot about the different air searches, how to use an ELT locator, electronic location transmitter, how to use the ham radios, and they will get your ham radio operator license. How to use ham radios and super powered walkie-talkies. There's a lot of different things you can pick up from. And I think they're even, at this point in time, I think they're considered part of Homeland Security. So in an odd way, everybody that ever served in the Civil Air Patrol at this point is a veteran.
Right.
So it's a cool unit. Or like I said, if you're the local search and rescue unit, where I used to live at Mount Cobb, the ambulance crew up there was for northeastern Pennsylvania, the hub of the search and rescue unit. So I was giving classes there quite often, and oh, hey, Greg. Well, you have a great night, man. Good luck tomorrow. I'm going out Thursday. I can't sit in the wet and cold anymore, so.
Right.
Mr. LaChance, I keep seeing stuff bounced across the screen, but by the time I read it, it's gone.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my fault. I'm the one putting it up there.
Oh, it's your fault.
Yeah, he asked the field guide. She was talking about this place in New York here, and he asked if it was where my side of the mountain was.
Yeah.
And then I guess she answered it there.
Yeah, I believe that's where it was filmed at, actually. The Adirondacks. It supposedly took place in Canada, but...
And then the field guide's saying her mom was in the Civil Air Patrol. Still has her cap.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually do search for downed aircraft, and you pull security till the FCC gets there, or is that the FCC? Whoever the people that take care of the airplanes give them from. We did Well, I had when I was in there, we had five rescues altogether in 3 years, 2 airplanes and 3 hunters.
Yeah,
It's a pretty neat unit.
Mason LaChance there, he was going to come on the panel and play his trumpet. He asked me what my favorite song was. I told him, which I had quite a few, and I told him, see if he can learn the Eye of the Tiger. And I think he's got it down, but he says if he don't get a chance to come on tonight, because I think his dad's asleep and he don't want to wake him up.
That's a good idea.
Right. I said, well, you'll have more time, so you can come on next week and play for us and tell us about his
please
channel
do.
and whatnot.
I'm an old musician, so yeah, please do.
I'm not either. I can't. I try to sing a little bit, but I mean, I'm not that I can carry the tune. But I just like I like singing for my wife because she tells me to shut up.
There you go. Now, I played my first gig in a bar when I was 11 years old.
Oh, really?
Yep. There was a place called Tootsie's down here in the local dive. And they used to play there for hamburgers, actually, dinner. I'd play for an hour every Friday night. It was me, my microphone, and a little lamp. And I was on stage when I was 8 with a band called the Silvertones. I was singing, I'd sing 2 or 3 songs a night with them. My first song I ever sang on stage was Saturday Night by the Bay City Rollers. And if anybody knows my channel, I can't spell worth a damn. So here I am, 8 years old, and I misspelled Saturday Night singing it, right? 15 years later, I run into one of the waitresses that used to be in the bar. And just in case anybody's wondering, yes, I grew up in bars. I ran into her about 15 years later. She said to me, "Did you ever learn how to spell Saturday night?" I was like, oh my God, really? But up until COVID hit, I've been playing, oh God, 48 years. Up until COVID hit, I was still playing.
Yeah, I forgot. I think now that you mention that, don't you have some videos on your channel of you playing, singing?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah. I seen that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I toured
I was
with,
pretty sure. I said that looks like Tom. I think that's Tom.
Yeah. I did, back in 09, the last tour I did with the thing called the Legends of Rock. It had Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers and Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad. Beatlemania cover band, and Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's son. Yeah, we had a wild time, man.
I mean, that's probably another passion of mine. I'm not that I don't play or sing, but I mean, I do like music, and you know, all genres, and you know, so I know a lot of stuff. I mean, even stuff, you know, before my time.
Yeah, but see, I'm a late life baby. So, like you were saying, your grandfather fought in World War II.
Right.
My father was in the Air Corps in World War II.
Right.
So, you know, when I grew up, it was like Lefty Frizzell, Hank Williams,
Right.
Scruggs, and
Flat and Scruggs.
yeah, that's it. Flat and Scruggs, and well, you being from Kentucky, probably heard them all your life when you were a kid.
Yeah, I am a bluegrass fanatic.
So I grew up with that, and then I played. I really went heavy metal in the 70s and 80s, and after it worked.
Well, that's,
And then in the 90s, I started listening to country again because it was actual music, not that crap they try to push off in the 70s, and the crap they're trying to push now.
right.
And
It's kind of come back, isn't it?
I got back in the country, and you know that's what I do for a living around here when COVID's not around. Is I play shows at nursing homes. I do some bars and stuff still, but mostly nursing homes, and the money's good. The hours are great.
Right.
I'm not coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I actually see. I work in a local hardware store, a lumber company, It's a True Value hardware, but it's locally owned. It's been in business for 46 years, but, or I'm sorry, it's been in business for over 75 years, since 1948. But I waited on a guy today who come and got some stuff, and he was a Elvis impersonator, and that's what he did. He'd done that in nursing homes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he's 74 years old and his hair is jet black. Of course, he dyes it. But
That's another pet peeve of mine. But yeah, nursing homes are fun. Bar scene just everybody's old now, and nobody wants to sit in the bars because of the drunk driving rules and
right,
the money and the time and the effort and everything. So, when I used to do the bars around here, I tell everybody hire me from 6 to 9, because that's when my crowd would be there. After that, it's just people are either bar hopping or they want to hear heavier, harder music.
yeah,
So that was all fine and well, and that dried up, and then DJs took over.
mm-hmm.
A DJ can walk in there with 100,000 songs, play anything anybody wants in a drop of a hat.
Right,
So then I had a buddy of mine said to me, "Why don't you try nursing home?" That's what he was playing, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna try it." And boy, it took off like wildfire. I do some solos, just me and my guitar, and I have another friend of mine used to play I was in a doo-wop band for years, and the drummer plays with me like a duo.
mm-hmm.
We had a lot of fun. Last year at this time, we played a Steamtown Historical Society here. Had a train ride, Christmas train ride, and we played we did the entertainment for that, Christmas carols and whatnot. Had a good time. I can never say I didn't have a good time playing.
Right.
I can't remember a lot of the jobs because between the coke and the pot and the booze, you couldn't remember much. But
Right. We've all been there.
I remember one time I woke up in Orange, New Jersey, which is like the next state over from me. But I woke up in Orange, New Jersey, and had no idea where I was and what I did. About 4 hours later, the band came looking for me because, I took off in the middle of the night, and they're like, "We need to go home." Like, okay. I got home. My mother's going through my travel bag, and she's looking at me kind of not nice, Okay, I guess I better ask. Hey, Chicago gents.
Yeah, this is a new fella. I don't know if I know this person.
I've never heard of him. But welcome.
I
We
guess
don't
he's
bite.
from Chicago.
But anyway, she's giving me these, nasty, nasty looks, and like, "Mom, what's the problem?" And she pulls out like 3 pairs of underwear. She told me, "These don't belong to you." Oh no! You know how mothers are.
Right.
Like, no, these got thrown at me on stage. They were keepsakes. She wasn't real
There you
happy
go.
with me for a long time.
Regular Tom Jones, huh?
Oh. I'll tell you, that heavy metal crowd in the 80s, well, late 80s, because I was in the service in the early 80s, but they were a wild bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed playing them.
So you play any genre mostly, or?
I play country, I play light rock, I play,
Right.
I play heavy metal, I play blues. Most of my guitar playing is blues if I'm going to sit down and just jam.
Right.
But, yeah, I sing country mostly. I sang heavy metal for quite a few years. And I play bass also. I used to play violin and piano, but I haven't played them in so long I couldn't tell you how to start.
If you had one in front of you, you'd probably be able to get it down pretty quick.
I'd probably be able to tinkle something out on it, yeah.
Right.
But, you know, once I got married and everything and had kids, it was like, hey, I can't be doing this. I tried for a few years when I first got married to my second wife, but you know, you work until 5, 6 o'clock at night, got to be on a job for 9, work till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, get home at 4, and I got to get back up at 6:30 for work.
Yeah.
The money just wasn't worth it.
Jefferson's saying you got to keep them undies for tender.
Oh yeah, they go up like mad. Actually, you don't even need a tinder source or a flame source. You just kind of rub the undies on the wood and poof. They make really good bow drills too until they get stretched out and then they fly off the end of the stick. It's not fun.
Instant ignition. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, I'm telling you, don't get old.
Oh, I think it's inevitable.
It's too close to use the top of the glasses, and you know, to use them, I have to like.
Oh.
But when I bring the bifocals up, I got to be like, you're looking up my nostril because I got to look through the bottom of the glasses. Now without them, I can't see crap. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to where I need. I do wear glasses to see far away, but I only use them to drive. I don't use them. I don't wear them all the time. But eventually I'm going to have to need close-up glasses, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I'm farsighted, I guess is what it's called. I can see things 200-300 yards away in great detail, but like 5 inches from my face, can't see nothing.
Well, see, I'm the opposite. I'm nearsighted. I can't see. I can't see far away. That's why I wear them to drive. But eventually I'll probably have to have bifocals. So I mean, at the moment I can still read good and see things. You know, as far as, you know, I can read the chat right here from where I'm at.
Yeah, my brother laughs at me when we go hunting because I use an open-sighted 22 still.
Yeah.
He just looks at me. He goes like, "How the hell can you see to shoot them things? I can't see them in a scope." It's like, well, I don't know. To be honest with you, I can't see down the end of the barrel, but yet I can shoot that stupid thing like an arrow. You know, maybe it's just force of habit. I don't know.
So you were in the Marine Corps, is that correct, or?
No, I was in the Army.
Oh, Army. Okay.
I was in the Army and I was in the Air Force for a couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, I was in the Army too for a little while. I think we probably already talked about that before.
I think so, yeah, at one time.
And then in the Kentucky National Guard for a little while.
Ah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, you know, a lot of guys pull National Guard service and veterans make fun of them, but you know what? They're in the Army, they serve their purpose, they serve their time in the military, and you know, like National Guard wasn't supposed to be frontline troops. They were supposed to be here to defend the nation. So obviously they're not going to be trained like the 1st Infantry Division.
Right, but they were a lot caught up for Desert Storm, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Afghanistan.
Yeah, this whole Afghanistan and Iraq war, 90% of the National Guard units seen field time.
Mm-hmm.
Like our unit here, 28th, there's a National Guard unit. They pulled them out of here, and the 3 brigades that we have, and the 1 cavalry brigade, they all seen service with other units,
right?
But they've all seen service. So literally, for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, we're going to have a fairly well-trained Army.
I was NBC and combat engineer.
Oh, first in, last out.
Yeah.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend of mine. He was combat engineers in Vietnam, and then he came out and he served 35 years after Vietnam as a combat engineer with the reserve unit here. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why he got out is towards the end of the Clinton administration, they decommissioned the unit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked him, do you want to? He said, no. He said, I'll just take 2 years in active duty. And he got himself set up, though, boy.
Right.
Well, I don't know if
Scott,
getting old.
it sucks. I don't know. It don't suck. NG equals nasty girls.
I'm not sure about that. But, yeah, like I said, the National Guard, they served we had a hurricane here in 72. Agnes it was. And it flooded out most of northeastern Pennsylvania down through our valley. They brought the National Guard in on them, and, I can't say enough about how them guys went to work. And, they were literally working in dead bodies from the cemeteries being washed out and everything. Finding, people that died in houses and everything. They did a very good job. I can't say enough about them. And I don't know about other places, but our National Guard units here were so lax, you really didn't even have to show up to your weekend meetings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You just call them up and tell them, hey, I got a hemorrhoid or whatever. And it's like, okay, we'll see you next month.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went with ours. And a lot of times, if you did show up, you're just sitting there playing cards or something.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine just got out of Afghanistan. They came back and he was going to serve the rest of his time out. And he came up to my house and he said, you know what? He said, this is such a farce being in the National Guard. He said, I don't even want to be in it anymore. I said, why? He said, because basically all we do, we go down in the Army, dressed in uniform, we walk in, everybody salutes, does your routine. And then the rest of the time, they don't even observe rank. They just kind of hang around, drink beers, drink soda, play cards, watch TV, sleep on the floor in the armory, and go home on Sunday.
Yeah, the only work I ever done was like some PMCS on protective masks, stuff like that.
Wow. Now, as a combat engineer, you figured, they'd have at least you guys out doing, Army Corps of Engineer work or whatever, because you guys ran heavy equipment and stuff. Like the medical units around here. The medical units around here, they have them out doing all kind of stuff. That commanding officer of the medical unit here, like with this pandemic, he has his boys out. Whoever's in on the weekend, they're ready to roll. The hospitals need them, or the nursing home needs them to do whatever. They're standing by, ready to go. Now, obviously, the combat units can't stand by ready because running in a nursing home with an M4 is not fun, but kind of gets people upset that way.
But yeah, you was talking about the hurricane. Here in the county I live here in Kentucky, which it's small little town county. We had a E4 tornado in 2012.
Yeah.
And a tornado is, until that time was unheard of in the, foothills of Kentucky here.
Yep.
But it got down in the valley and destroyed everything in the city. And in our little city, it was destroyed. Every church, every building. And, now it's rebuilt and looking better than ever. But at that time, in 2012, and a few years beyond that, it was rough. And, of course, they came through and helped out a lot. Of course, the Salvation Army and different entities like that,
Yep.
West Liberty, Kentucky, you can look that up on YouTube. And there's a lot of footage from the Weather Channel and CNN about that.
Yeah, we had a couple. The tornadoes in my area was unheard of, period. And now that they've been deforesting and putting in, all the industrial parks and the highways and everything, we're starting to get a lot of them now.
Right.
The one hit a place up here, but it was called Lake Terry. It's a really secluded little community, and it blew through it, knocked everything flat. And I have a series of videos on my channel. It's called Prep for the Preps that deal with prepping and whatnot. And I prep for natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't do that, Scott. Trust me. But everybody's like, well, how come we don't prep for like what might go on nowadays and everything? It's like, well, the odds of you getting hit with a natural disaster is probably 100 to 1 compared to the country going, defunct and going to war with each other or whatever. And I've always had, my house when I had it, I always had it prepped for winter, which to me is a natural disaster. And for winter, summer, the heat and, any hurricanes or tornadoes or anything that blew through. And I have seen, standing on my front porch, I have seen 3 tornadoes over the course of my life. So they were relatively far away, but close enough to hear and see. It's a scary thought that something that forceful is that close.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that would happen too. Yeah, it doesn't take much to start a tornado. Any good thunderstorm could start a tornado. It's
Yeah.
basically cold and hot air, and it starts swirling together, and away you go. But we had one touchdown. We had one touchdown about 3 miles from me. I seen that one through the lightning blast go across the mountain. It was relatively quick. It wasn't basically like the ones you see on TV. It was kind of there and gone. It did some damage though, and we had another one it was about 3/4 of a mile away from me. You ripped some shingles off my mom's roof, blew a lot of trees down. But that was just, I don't know what the hell we call it, a microburst maybe? It basically came down, hit the ground for about 200 yards and went back up. But it demolished the whole top of the mountain in seconds. And me, my old house, I lived in a trailer I built an addition on. And I was always thinking to myself, when the wind blowed or, whatever, that addition would hold that down. And then I actually seen what these hurricanes or tornadoes can do. And it's like, I'm toast.
Right.
So I always had an extra stash of supplies, guns and food and everything, stuffed back in the woods buried. And, if the house went over and we were toast, I knew I had 2 cases of MREs that would last us a week. I had a pistol, a rifle, water, stuff like that. I had enough supplies put aside. Away from the area that I lived in. So if something happened in that area, I had supplies. But that's my big deal in prepping. I prep for natural disasters.
Well, that's a good thing to prep for. Whether you prep for whatever, that's probably one of the best things to prep for. Because you never know what might happen, and it's good to have a cache stashed away somewhere.
Yeah, that old saying, never put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
Years ago, I learned that I used to live in the woods when I was a teenager for like a year and a half. And I've been raided by different hunters and just kids and stuff. And you had to start all over again with whatever I had. So after that, I had a cache here, I had a cache there, not everything in one place. Right. And then when I started prepping for these natural disasters and stuff, I was like, well, what happens if the house burns down, blows up, snow caves the roof in, we can't stay here. Everything that I'm keeping here prepped can't stay. And we can't get into it. So then I went out the back and I dug a 6x6 and used pallets and stuff to reinforce it. And,
right.
I put a stash in there that I figured would be a week, 2 weeks tops. Then in the meantime, though, I had a pond right behind my house, so I didn't have to worry about water. And I have a couple of Sawyer water filters, so I could do gallons at a time. I didn't have to worry about water, and I didn't have to worry so much about food because it had freshwater mussels in it. Your typical ducks and stuff that lives by ponds had catfish in it, so on and so forth. So, worst came to worst, I can always go in there and use the net and just dip out fish that we needed or whatever. So I was pretty well set where I was, but life is what it is. Now here, where I'm at here now, I've got I got a really nice pond next to us here with good fish in it. I've got enough woods on either side of me to where, not that I could actually get around anymore, but if I needed to be, I could always drive in with a car and find food.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not in bad shape here, but it is a community. There's over 200 people in here, and from my block of the building here, most of the people, oddly enough, I know a couple of them from when I was a kid, and they're all prepped and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Look here,
Yeah, man.
Look here what Steve said. He said he only has one egg and no basket.
Oh, we know you're basketless. You're a basket case. We know this. You gotta love Steve. They're just.
Oh, yeah.
No
One of
matter
a
whether
kind.
you agree with them half the time or not, you gotta love them.
One of a kind.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, the trailers are nice. When I built the addition on there, it was. Yeah, I noticed that sometimes we'd be on them live streams for a long time. Especially in the beginning, man. I remember the one we got on at 7:00 at night. It was like 5 a.m. when we got off. The stream, that is.
Right.
But yeah, trailers are they're tornado magnets, like you said. They're just a place to temporarily live.
Yeah.
And but to be honest with you too, a stick-built house ain't much better.
Right. I mean, I live in a mobile home trailer, which I've lived here for 20 years, and luckily when that tornado did hit here, it didn't hit my area. I just had hail damage, but you never know.
Yeah, hail damage is just as bad when you're in a trailer, because literally, I don't know what year yours is, but mine was pretty old, and we had a bad hailstorm that literally went through my siding. It just went right through that cheap aluminum. That's not what Courtney tells us. But yeah, it dented my roof. I mean, even bad windstorms will open up the roof, because the old ones are layered in sections and kind of tied into each other.
Yeah.
A bad windstorm get that roof ripple in, and it'll open them seams right up, and then the next rainstorm, you don't know it. Next rainstorm, your ceiling soaking wet. Like I said, I put the addition on mine and was 16 by 32, and I plan to put another one on and just get rid of the trailer, but that never happened. But luckily, the worst I've ever had happen is we had a windstorm, and it broke off a piece of a tree that came down and stuck in my roof. It was just a patch job. That was about the worst we had, so.
Well, I mean, the trailer I live in is like an '84 model, but we've remodeled and it's got 1/2-inch sheetrock all over the walls. New sheetrock, and I just put a new metal roof on, so it's almost like a 14 by 70 house.
When I bought mine, it was mine was a '64.
Okay.
But when I bought it, they remodeled the entire inside of the thing, ran copper wiring and everything. So when I got it home, certain sections had sheetrock and stuff.
Yeah.
We like to think we are, Tony, but time will tell.
Yeah. That's right. I
We're
thought
not
I'd put that
necessarily
up there.
the sanest people.
That's right. I'm going to put this link on. This young man says he wants to play his trumpet now.
You're not going to wake your dad up and get shot, are you?
I told him I'd let him do it. I'm going to post the link again to see if he wants to come up on chat.
Yeah, give it a shot. Why not?
But I'll post it. I'll post the link again. Let's see if he wants to. Now Scott Howard said his is a 1978 20 by 40.
Oh, that's a little guy. Yeah, actually, my brother lived in a 20 by 40 when he first got married. I actually liked them.
Well, nowadays people are getting these, prefabbed sheds or buildings or whatever, and making houses out of them.
Yeah. Well, my late wife, when she died, before I met my girlfriend and everything, I looked into that. I was going to buy 2 10 by 10 storage sheds. Figured I'd put them both together. It'd have a 10 by 20 ranch house. That'd be good enough for one person.
The husband of Steve, he told Tony he's the bad guy.
Well, he's obnoxious, but I wouldn't say bad. We love you, Steve.
All right, here's Mr. Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Don't be nervous.
I'm not looking. All right.
Good job, brother.
Great job, Ben.
Way more than what I thought I would.
The actual version.
You got
Doing all
a future,
right?
kid.
I got the band arrangement version of it, so it's about half the time because there's quite a bit that I wouldn't be playing in if
Right.
the entire band was playing.
I appreciate you doing that for us.
Sounded good.
Yeah, sounds good in the spots I don't mess up.
Well,
Hey, you
everybody
know what?
messes up then.
That's right. You know,
I mean, that's also what I get for cramming it into 2 days, but whatever.
For 2 days practice, that was good.
yeah. And if you want to try it next week, we can do it again then too.
Yeah, I shouldn't mess up nearly as much next week.
Yeah,
But
you
hey,
know,
it's better than I could do.
Ted Nugent said it best. When you make a mistake, just keep right on going. Nobody notices.
There you go.
Been doing that for years. I've been playing. I play songs I don't even know the words to, but it sounds good and people don't even notice.
Like, I played it probably 10 times before I got on, and almost perfectly every single time. Get on here and mess up.
Yep. Same deal. You practice at the house constantly. You get on stage, you'll screw it up.
Yep.
So I didn't worry about it after a while. I just keep playing. Nobody really notices.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, then-
hey, everybody, you got good reviews on the chat. Everybody's saying good job, bravo. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a real good job.
The Huntsman said he would bomb tooting anything except his own horn.
Steve.
But I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your channel at all?
Really on the updates is we got a few more videos that I've been working on editing, and then hopefully have them posted by the end of this week.
Bushcrafting
Oh, that's-
videos or
Yeah.
Yeah,
working on-
he does.
Trails, and I'm working on a treehouse right now.
we got to ask Steve where to get the breakfast bagels from.
That's the Huntsman.
There's nothing wrong with a treehouse. I'll tell you what. Some of the best times I had when I was a kid was in a treehouse.
This spot up here, like
And-
on my phone, I've got a hotspot. I can take my Chromebook up there and do my homework up there.
Well,
Of course, this young man's 13 years old, so a
Yeah.
treehouse is right in his genre.
that was
But,
right around the
hey,
time
it's-
we grew up, but we didn't have hotspots and Chromebooks.
Right.
We had flare guns. If your mother wanted you fired a flare. Oh, there they are.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I commend you for being out in the woods at a young age and in your generation. There's not, many of your generation that likes to be out in the woods.
That's for sure. So,
Yeah, I hate it because there's a lot of times that I go down to the woods, but like building and stuff, it's all fun, but after a while it just gets kind of boring because there's nobody else down there. You're always by yourself.
yeah, that stops a lot of people nowadays. See, when we grew up as kids, being by yourself really didn't matter, or if you were friends, really didn't
Yeah.
matter. But nowadays, everybody wants to do everything in a crowd. So, I guess it can get kind of boring.
Yeah, I gotta hop off here. I'm getting ready for bed.
All right, Bub. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, Mason, you have a good one. What a cool
You could
kid.
tell he was nervous. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That
you wouldn't watch him playing. I was watching him. He was tight.
Yep. Yeah, I guess we would have been too if it was a fact that we're
Right.
on
Oh, ain't no
TV.
doubt. Ain't no doubt. I mean, with technology these days, being able to get on a hillbilly from Kentucky's live stream.
Yeah, who would have ever thought? You know, as a friend of mine was having some difficulties in his life. He was up here for a couple of days. And we were sitting here talking last night, and it's like, you remember when we used to watch the Jetsons when we were kids? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the video phones? Oh, yeah. So think about it. We have the Jetsons video phones now.
Right.
Oh, M80s and Tannerite's always fun. But then I got thinking about it, and in my backpack, my camping pack, I have survival tabs. We had them when I was in the service, but I never really gave it a thought.
Right.
But I have these packs of survival tabs. You eat 12 of them, it's a full meal.
Mm-hmm.
The ones we had were about yay big around, like the size of a big cookie. You ate 2 of them, that was a full day's meal. And I was telling him, I said, you know, we have video phones, and now I've got the food in the capsule that Jetsons used to eat in my backpack. All you have to do is you pop, 10 or 12 of them, 7 or whatever, and you got a full meal. And he's like, really? It's like, yeah, honest to God. So the only thing now we need is hovercraft, so we just fly to wherever we go.
There you go.
Technology is crazy. And I do my best not to keep up with it.
Yeah. Especially, lately, I got last week I got hacked on Facebook, and it's still not acting right.
You too?
Yeah.
I got hacked in the springtime.
Oh, yeah?
And this might be a good story to tell for everybody. I got hacked real bad in the springtime by some guy named Ian Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I won some kind of giveaway, send me your driver's license, this, that, and they're like, and by the time I knew it, he hacked into my account. So I made a new one.
Right.
Starting in September, people were like, hey, what are you sending me these pictures for? What pictures? Well, I'm getting these pictures. I didn't send you any damn pictures. So it started very little. And then last month I got a thing from my bank that, your X amount of dollars overdrawn. I was like, ow. And then they started going through the bank account. Now, as stupid as this sounds, my bank never sent me any notification. But in September, this company's trying to draw out $9.98 and overdrawing me continuously for 3 months. I didn't even know it. Okay, so I tried to track them down. It came from PayPal. Okay, so I looked up PayPal on YouTube, or not on YouTube, but on Google. Went into what I thought was my PayPal account. Now listen up, everybody, because this is where it gets fun. What I thought was my PayPal. The guy said to me, well, yeah, he said, but you got to download this application. I think it was called a desk app or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll allow me to be able to get into your bank files and retrieve that ongoing and get to settle. Oh, okay. They had a good spiel.
Right.
So I let him in. Well, now all of a sudden, here's how it worked. They got into my PayPal through Facebook, because it's linked through that Facebook Pay thing. They got into my PayPal through Facebook that they hacked in the spring. And every time they took out that $9.28, they were waiting for me to call.
Yeah.
So when you call the number, they tell you, we have to get into this to straighten that out. And by the time you're done, they've got your bank accounts, they've got your driver's license. It was a mess here. And I finally got it straightened out before the beginning of this month. But just if you have PayPal and stuff like that, don't link it to anything. Use a one of them prepaid credit cards.
Yeah.
Put $50 on it or whatever when you see something you want to buy, and use that card only, because otherwise they can get into your bank account literally through your PayPal that's linked to your Facebook and rob you blind. So the
Yeah.
other day I'm sitting here and like I said, I was getting these people, sending me pictures, and then I started getting all these internet prostitutes that they're adding themselves onto my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I got a hold of a friend of mine. He's a tech wizard, and I said to him, I don't know how they're doing this. He said, well, it's easy. He says, as long as they have your old PayPal account. The one that hacked your account owns your Facebook account, and he's letting all the other ones in that's tracking through to your new account. I was like, oh, really? So I get rid of my second account, Thomas Ritter No, start a third account, and I'm going through my friends list to add them onto my new account. There's 16 of them that added themselves to my friends list since the last time I got rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I talked to the one because he was supposedly, or she was, a friend of about 6 different people that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a hold of her. She's like, well, I don't know you. I've never heard of your name, just that and the other thing. Well, she was willing to send me dirty pics of whoever, as long as I sent her a $50 gift card. I'll do whatever you want. I'll love you a long time. Just send me a $20, send me a $50 gift card. It's like, what are you, crazy? And I figured, so I got rid of her, and they just kept piling up. But fair warning to everybody out there that's got hacked. Like you got hacked the other day.
Yeah.
And they can track through PayPal's and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, my deal, I didn't have anything stolen as far as PayPal or anything. They just hacked my account and started sending this link to everybody through Messenger. Like every friend I had, and you probably even got one.
Yep.
But
Well, actually, I went to open it up, and I didn't for some reason. And then you sent me a message, don't open that. And I was like, okay.
right, and I didn't make a new account because I was like, if I have to do this, I'm not even going to mess with Facebook anymore because it just didn't seem like I needed to. But I just went in there and I used a whole new email and password. And I don't know how they got my password because I use a password that I have symbols and numbers and it's just something that nobody would ever know.
They can get them, trust me. Like,
I know.
That first
I know
Facebook,
that now.
that first Facebook they hacked me into, I had a 15-letter password. And like you said, it was letters, numbers. I think it was like Ishkabibble 1625-1410. That was the original Ishkabibble, though.
Right.
And they got the password out of there and started,
see, I had this problem with people sending me friend requests from Pakistan who say they make knives.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't accept many of them, or any of them, even though they say they have 6 mutual friends.
I did a video about 2 years ago on Pakistani blades. It was actually a series. And ever since then, I get friend requests from, you name it. And it's probably the worst videos I ever put up just because it's a pain in the ass trying to get these people to get away from you.
Right. Because as soon as you accept them, they're right there in Messenger asking you, this, that, and the other about buying knives or whatever.
Well, the one guy wanted me to review knives for him. And I told him, I said, well, I wouldn't mind reviewing knives. And he sent me one to review.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, the knife fell apart. I took it out on the porch. I was doing some feather sticks. It didn't hold an edge.
Yeah.
I said, oh, maybe it'll work. Everybody wants to see the stupid batoning. Let's try that. And I beat it through like a 2-inch round piece of pine. The handle snapped off of my hand. Okay, so I kept pounding it because it was like half stuck out of this board. I wanted to get it out of the board. By the time I got to the bottom of the pine stick, it would literally snapped.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote him back. I said, you know, and if this is the quality of your knives, I wouldn't review these for toilet paper. And, you know, he never bothered me again. But and then there was another scam going around. I'm not going to mention any names, but a guy was supposedly making handmade bushcraft knives here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting the materials and the blades from Pakistan and saying that they were handmade here in the United States under a logo and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I caught up to him pretty fast, and I told him, because he sent me one to review, and beautiful knife, absolutely gorgeous. But it wouldn't hold an edge. And, you know, what do you think of that knife? It's like, well, you know, the sheath is from Pakistan. I know that. And I said, and their knife pretty much acts like it's from Pakistan. So it's camel bone handle and this, that, and the other thing. He's like, oh, no, I get him. And then, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Well, that's what happened with this PayPal thing. When I finally got through to the real PayPal, I gave him the number and the logo and everything. I copy and paste it. And the guy's like, well, you know, we'll be on this tomorrow. He said, but that's not PayPal. But it had the PayPal logo and everything. I think it was an 877 number, and PayPal's an 800 number or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, JV, we were waiting for you to get tucked in with your baba, and then we might, you know, think about going to bed.
I had to put that up there so you can see it.
Bottle of Coors Light with a nipple, you know. For those of you who are new in the chat here, if you're looking for a lot of great channels, I can't see the live chat, but I'm sure there's like the Huntsman and JV and a couple other guys I've seen in here. They're great channels. Go subscribe to them. You can't go wrong.
I agree.
Or if you have a channel, post a link to it here, and you know, I'm sure everybody will check it out.
Yeah, I got some moderators. I don't know if they're still in the chat or not. Well, JV is actually a moderator to my channel, but I mean, he's probably at work right now. But I mean, I know that young boy Mason. He's got a channel. He's just starting out. I did get him about 8 or 9 subscribers the other night when he came on my live stream.
Nice kid.
Yeah, he hit me up on Facebook. I guess he saw my channel, and he. I think I was probably the first one to actually subscribe because he didn't actually, you know, have it public. And then he has a couple of videos on there, and he uses his phone to record it like I do, but he was using it in portrait mode, you know, up and down instead of horizontal.
Right.
I said you need to turn that phone horizontal, you know, so you could for YouTube. And I gave him, you know, I used the InShot app to edit, and I edit right from my phone.
No, see, I don't edit anything. I can't figure out editing crap.
Well, I mean, I don't edit as far as like taking stuff away, but I'll record in clips and to merge them together, you know, I'll do it that way, and then I'll add a little text and stuff on there like. You know, when I start out, I'll introduce my channel, and I'll put, you know, it'll say Frontier Survival over top of my head or something.
Yep. Yeah, I don't. Even on my camping trips and that I've recorded on there, it's always been, you know, a little short.
Well, I mean, right.
I don't edit. I can't put them together, so put up with it.
Well, I mean, I only do it because I learned how, and I just figured I'd give it a try. I mean, I don't really care whether if I do or not. And that's kind of why I started doing these live streams, because it helps a little bit with the watch hours. And you know, there's no editing with these. I mean, you know, like Steve, he'll put out little highlight reels of each stream, which is pretty cool, too.
Oh, Steve's come a long way in that computer work, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, you know, live streaming, it's something that people think is, that was weird, something that people think is new, But we were doing live streaming back when Google first took over YouTube. They had a thing called Hangouts,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to be able to do podcasts and live streaming through there. And oh God, I had a Monday night show with a guy by the name of Jim. It was VX777 Infonet. And it was just us two, and you bring a guest speaker on there. Like we had Johnny M.I. Woods been on there one time, and Brandon Burrows, and a couple other guys. And Mike Hickman had one. Forget the name what he used to call his. And then it was Worldwide Survival Bushcraft that we used to do that every Friday night. And there was another one called the AMPA channel. We used to do that every Wednesday night. So for like 2 years there, every night I was on a different live stream. And I don't know, for some reason they just dried up. We had a lot of fun with them. There was a lot of information flying around.
Right.
And then around
Hopefully.
15, 16, they just dried up, and now all of a sudden they're starting to reappear. They're fun too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, you can't always, be out in the woods doing some type of gear review or bushcraft skill or something, but you can live stream and be in your own house and at least talk about it and throw out information there that somebody might want to know.
Yeah. The thing is with bushcrafting, we discussed this on quite a few places, that most everything there is to know is out there.
Right.
Especially if you're like bushcraft 101ing.
Mm-hmm.
There are your beginners, like possibly Mason or whatever. They need to know the 101 basics, but there's so much of it out there that it's really not going to do you any good.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to go to the bigger channels. They're not going to wind up at Frontier Survival or Tom Ritter channel to learn bushcraft 101. They're going to be over at Canterbury's or Really Big Monkey or one of them guys. And so there's really not a whole lot of content left to.
No, I mean, you're going to copycat, just like Steve talks about. If you can't be original as far as the content, you can be original as far as the way you present it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Dave over at A Really Big Monkey once said, he watches people who's only got 1 or 2 subscribers that maybe have 2 or 3 videos, because you'll always find a little glimmer, a little gem that you forgot about or didn't know or whatever.
Right. Like I got a video out there about building a bushcraft chair. And, if you search bushcraft chair, you'll find thousands of videos, and mine won't be in the top 10. But, I think that my spin on it, at least, was entertaining enough for someone to watch.
Well, even bushcraft chairs. When the chairs first started coming around, it was basically a bench.
Right.
That somebody stuck 4 legs or 3 legs into.
Mm-hmm.
Then they evolved from that to this, people were using them triangle pieces of canvas or leather.
Mm-hmm.
And making a stool out of it. And then it evolved from that to where people were using like a tarp to put your bipod up against a tree, and a little thing on the bottom. You hung a tarp over it. You used the tarp as a chair seat.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started making, full on like on the Adirondack chairs, and so they've evolved down through the thing. And I'm sure there's somebody out there with the knowledge of how to make them different.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't seen that yet.
Right.
But like I said, everything, except for the fact that you have your own twist on how to do things, possibly, or I do, or whoever. But everything that can be possibly done in our hobby has been done.
Oh, ain't no doubt. Yeah.
There's a few things that I've been watching that, you don't, like fishing channels.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's covered a whole lot of fishing. They've covered hunting, trapping, camping. Nobody's covered a whole lot of fishing or, tying flies, fly fishing type channels. They're out there, but no, they're not prevalent like, you know, bushcrafting channels are. But you really got to have you got to have a hell of an imagination and a wealth of knowledge to put out new content anymore.
Right. I mean, that's kind of, you know, even if this live stream, I mean, everybody's got a niche that they do on YouTube. I mean, whether it's vlogging, your everyday life, or you know, an outdoor channel, or some type of, you know, repair channel or whatever. But I mean,
COVID.
but I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, you know, I call mine survival, frontier survival, but I could, you know, incorporate some type of hunting video or fishing video because it's still an outdoor channel.
Right. You know, the thing is, too, that like everything else, it falls out of vogue and then it comes back in and it falls out of vogue. So, you know, like back before people were actually using hammocks, there was a big push of making your own out of paracord. That started to come back in, and, you know, different types of knives and different packs and the newer gear that came out. Everybody wants to rehash them. It fell out of vogue 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, well, let's do a video of, I don't know. Let's do a video on the Alice pack or whatever.
Right.
Okay, well, you know, there's another video out, but what they're not understanding is 2-3 years ago when there was 500-600 bushcrafting channels out there, go on the feed, and, you know, when I first started, some of the stuff I put out was on, some of the stuff was on that, I forget what they call it, the push, where they give you a list of people you can watch or whatever in the bushcrafting community. And nowadays, you don't see hardly anybody in there because it's just, yeah, that's what I always got out of it too. Guys that are, you know, I'm 57 years old, guys that are in their early 30s, 20s. Oh yeah, you know, this is brand new. No, it's not. I seen that 50 years ago, so give it up. But on the other hand, there is a whole new genre of kids out there that hasn't seen possibly that it's worth putting out, but is it worth putting out?
Right.
What do you want? Come on up here. Come on. Come on.
I mean, if you
Wanna
take
say
someone
hi?
like,
Say hi. Where you
hello,
at?
Poochie,
Hey, there, Chip Chip.
Chub Chubs, there you go.
Now he's looking at the phone like, hey, they know me. Now you lay down there. Lay down there, you monstrosity. It's just something to think about. Like, you know, years ago, I was stuck for content for the longest time. And I was talking to a guy who was a Thanks Man, was the name of his channel. And he's like, I'd really like to see a review of that pistol. And I said, oh, well, I don't really want to do the 18,000th review on this pistol. He said, yeah, but I haven't seen you do it. So what a difference does that make? He said, well, you know, I can connect with you, and it make you when you do it makes sense. And well, I went ahead and did the video. Yeah, that's my puppy. I went ahead and did the video as a Heritage Arms Rough Rider 22, and it did well, and it just taught me then at that point, you know, you can rehash things over and over and over and over and over. Somebody's going to watch it. You're not going to get famous like the guys that started 10 years ago because it wasn't out there, and now they're, you know, looks like they're some kind of great wilderness men. But and then you got guys like Joe Robinette who, you know, He's what, 30 years old, and he's going to show me about things.
Joe Prophet.
Yeah, him too. I was like, well, you know what? If that's your forte in the life, have fun. You know? I'll watch, I'll laugh, I'll turn you off. But like I said, there is a whole new genre of kids out there that need to learn bushcraft 101, and you're not going to get rich or famous off of it.
Oh no.
You're
I mean,
basically doing it just to help out the newer people, but.
And I'm not in it for that at all. I mean, you know, I'm 46 years old, which I'm not that old, but still, you know, I got a good day job, and you know, I could pay the bills, so I just kind of enjoy doing it. And it really warmed my heart to have a young man like that come to me and you know, at least expressed interest in, you know, stuff like this.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things about YouTube that used to keep me going. It still does. Is the fact that every now and then you'd run into somebody who just, you know, that they're asking you questions about things and whatnot. And it just makes you feel good and makes you want to put out more content.
Right, and that's exactly why I enjoy having you here on the panel to, you know, to speak on things and even absorb what you talk about. And
I thought it was my beard and my good haircut.
Well, that too.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you know, even though we've never met in person, you know, I feel like, you know, if we did meet in person, we would probably take off just like we would be right here.
Probably. It's funny. I met right here in my area. I've got like 5 YouTubers, and every time I run into one of them, it's just we're old friends. We're not, you know. I just met this guy. As Chris Wood, he runs CW Outfitters, a little online store. If you guys, you know, got a lot of great deals over there. I think I sent you over there to him too.
Yeah.
But he has bank line and paracord, mule tape, like outrageous prices. But he hangs around with Dave Canterbury and whatnot. And we got talking one day, and he's like, "Well, where do you live?" "Oh, I live here." "Where do you live?" "I live there." We're like 10 miles from each other. Let him in, Mom's room. And oddly enough, I was on YouTube one day, and there's a guy by the name of Cal Emery. Cal's Treks and Trails. The channel's still up, I think. How can I feel good? He was in Oklahoma. He was homeless, living in the woods in a tarp. I mean, the guy was. What impressed me about it, he was out there living, but he didn't have $1 million worth of gear. He had, you know, like a dollar store blue tarp and some blankets that he had with him, and so I started talking to him, and we got to be friends. And he said to me, "Well, I'm going to be hitchhiking back to the East Coast." I was like, "Oh yeah, where are you going?" He said, "Pennsylvania." I was like, "Hey, I'm in Pennsylvania." He said, "Yeah, I'm going to stop off in Scranton, then I'm going to go to my girlfriend's home." Scranton? Like, yeah, why? I said, "Scranton's like 10 miles from me." "Oh." I said, "Where's your girlfriend live?" He told me where she lived, and I was like, that's about 5 miles from my brother's house. So as we got talking, he marched right, like almost into my backyard from Oklahoma, this homeless guy in Oklahoma, to a YouTuber that's literally living like 25 miles away from me. And that was kind of freaky. It was just a way small world. And he comes down there quite often, or I'll go up to his house, but he lives out in the middle of boondock nowhere, man. He's out there. And there was a couple of guys from Toby Hannon down around Stroudsburg. Dan Wolak was another one from Bullcracker. He's only, he's 45 minutes from me here. And it was crazy when I started running into all these people. And like you said, don't know them from Adam. And got along like we've known each other for years. But Cal's Treks and Trails, if you can find a channel, I don't know if it's still up or not. Literally, like I said, homeless guy living out of the dollar store in Walmart, and you hitchhiked across the United States like that. And
That's awesome.
you know, my biggest deal is if he can do that and hitchhike across the United States, what the hell do we need $1,000 worth of gear for?
There you go. I mean, there's no need in it. I know years ago, well, a few years back, for about 7 or 8 years, I was a deckhand on towboats and barges, and traveled the Ohio River, and like around Cincinnati and places, you'd see a lot of homeless living like that. You know, have tarps, or even, some of them even had tents.
Mm-hmm.
But they just lived behind the flood wall, and you'd see little fires going and everything else.
Yeah, there was a guy living here in my complex right behind this lake of mine that I have on the property. Yeah, all summer he was living there, and I happened to notice just the other day now that the leaves are off the trees. I was going down the expressway, and if you look over the bank, somebody has like 2 chairs set up along the river, tarp over the trees, a little fireplace, and like a little shelter dugout thing in the side of the bank. They're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They wake up every morning and they don't have $1,000 worth of gear.
Right. But they have enough to get by, and they know how to survive.
Right. It's like Cal. I asked him one time, I said, well, you never show knives or anything like that. And he's like, oh, I got a knife. And he pulls out this Smith & Wesson folding knife that, most of these bushcraft guys would laugh at and leave in the store. But that was his knife. That's all he had. That's what he used. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he hitchhiked back and forth across the United States. And then when I got talking to him, this is not his first trip. He's hitchhiked all 48 states and Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
The same way, just, dollar store tarp, whatever he could roll up in a bedroll or a backpack if he had one. And, he never really had any good knives. He just, whatever he could pick up for what he could afford.
Right.
And like I said, the guy's, he's 42 years old, and spent most of his life drifting, using tin cans for cups and stoves. And it was crazy that, I knew about it because that's the way I grew up as a kid, but it was crazy when I think of these guys on here that, they won't go out unless they have their Hennessy hammock and their underquilt, their overquilt, their Ken Smith tarp. And I got a custom-made knife that I just paid $300 for from such and such a knife maker, and Helicon pants and Helicon boots. And here's this guy. He's doing the same thing you're doing with $50 worth of stuff.
Right.
Exactly, creative. It just, if you don't have the skills, the gear don't matter.
That's right. I think that's was it Moore's? I'm not sure how you say the last name, but he said knowledge weighs nothing.
Yep. And the more you know, the less you carry.
Right.
I've seen guys out there camping and bushcrafting and stuff. And I ran across a couple of bushcraft camps that were just. One guy in particular down along the river here where I fish, he had a Eureka 4-season tent. He had some kind of backpack. I don't even know the name of it. You could tell it was money. And you name it, it was in there. And I started thinking about it as I'm hunting down through the woods. It's like, he's down there fishing. And I just walked through his camp. I could have picked up $1,000 worth of gear like it was nothing and walked away. He would have never known.
Right.
That was always my first thought. If you're out there with all this expensive gear, what happens if you step away to take a whatever. And some guy comes through on an ATV, grabs it and runs. You can't catch up to him.
No.
Which has happened. It's happened up, campers up here in the state park where we had a problem with kids on the ATVs running by, grabbing tents and backpacks, and you never see them again. And not only that, but nice gear is expensive gear is nice. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it's not needed.
Right.
So you're going to put let's like I say about a lot of people prepping, you're going to put your family out because you just spent $100 on a tent. You're going to put this out. You're going to put that out. You put $1,000, $1,100 into your gear kit, and then you find out you don't like bushcrafting. Now, what do you do with $1,100 worth of gear? It sits in your garage.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I started people out years ago, it was like buy a tarp from the Dollar General, 5x7. Here, buy this knife, buy a couple little odds and ends here and there, and that's all you need. Something to carry water, something to cook in, something to get under in case it rains. Go out there in your jeans, go out there in your favorite, worn out boots, and just have fun. And then if it's something that you want to go professionally or whatever, then buy the stuff. Because you're going to be using it, so you need quality if you're going to be using it heavy. I had a guy come in one time. He stayed in my backyard one night. One night. Had an $1,100 hammock set up. Between the hammock, the 2 down quilts, the down sleeping bag, the tarp, you name it, it came to $1,100 to sleep in one night. Well, at my yard, I don't know how many times he slept in. But I looked at him and said, what could you have done with $1,100 if you didn't have to buy a hammock? Well, it just never made. Knives are another thing that never made any sense to me, and I can't say I don't have them because I have $300-400 knives here. But they're safe cleans. They don't go out in the woods with them. They're stuff that I like to have. The stuff I'm beating in the woods, I didn't pay that much money for it, believe me. But as long as it holds a good edge, it does what you want. It cuts, it butchers your game, it shaves trees, strikes ferro rods, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's a good knife. It doesn't have to be $100. I got $20 knives here. Works just as good as my customs.
Right.
So it's all a matter of what you think about it. But like everybody says, if you have skills, you don't need that much gear. Like tents, I love tents. I always have loved tents. I got in a little trouble one night and I couldn't get outside the tent. I couldn't get outside the tent because you had to zipper the net, you had to zipper the tent, you had to open this up, do that. By the time I got out there, the bear had already run off with my backpack. Same thing with sleeping bags. I'm all wrapped up in this mummy bag. I can't get out of the bag fast, and then I started using plow points and A-frame shelters and blankets so that I can get out of there fast if I have to, or chase off animals if I have to, or whatever. Because I thought about it that night. I'm curled up in a pup tent in a mummy bag. That there's no protection there from any animal that wants to do you any harm. Not that they would, but just for the hell of it, a bear comes into camp and he wants whatever's in that tent. There's nothing going to stop him.
No.
And now I'm stuck in a mummy bag that I can't get out of fast. So even if I heard him coming, by the time I got out of the bag, got out of the tent to do anything, he would have been on top of me or ran away with whatever he wanted to get anyway. So at that point in time, I realized, hey, it's either going to be a rectangle bag where I can keep my hands out of or whatever, or keep it partially open and an open front shelter of some kind so that I can stop whatever. I've had kids raid my camp in the middle of the night. Like I said, on ATV. And They ran into camp, grabbed my stuff, ran over, jumped on the ATV, and took off before I was even out of my bag. I'm
I
like,
was
we
going to show
had.
some.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead. I was going to show something off here real quick before I forgot
Oh.
about it, but this is something my wife got me for Christmas, and she gave it to me early. It's a leather pouch. Of course, it was bought, but you unsnap it and it folds down. It's a foraging bag.
Oh
You can
yeah.
put that on. You can put that on your belt.
Yep. They're pretty cool. I've seen a lot of them on people's belts.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing, and it didn't cost a whole lot, of course, because I told her, I said, if you ever buy me anything that has to do with what I like to do, don't spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's real leather. I mean, of course, and it's a waxed canvas bag inside there.
Yeah, they're
And
nice. I've never had a chance to use one, but I've seen a lot of them used.
Right. I mean, I'm not really got big into foraging, but that's something I like to get to do. As far as we get a lot of morel mushrooms around here and different things. When it
Yeah.
comes season.
I used to keep a small bag inside of my haversack for that.
Right.
If I came across something I wanted to pick up, something about that size, I just open it up and put whatever I want and hang it off the haversack.
Well, see, yeah, I have a little bag, and what it actually is just a old, like a coin bag from a bank. I got a hold of
Yeah.
it somehow, and but she got me that. She knows what I like, and she just kind of shop for it, and
Cool.
I
Andy's
just figured I'd
taking
show
care
that
of
off.
something.
Yeah.
Oh Christ! It's after 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it is.
You have work in the morning, don't you?
I do, but I was going to try to go at least 11:30 or so. But
Oh, okay. I didn't realize what time it was.
I'm pretty good at being able to survive on about 4 or 5 hours of sleep if I can.
Yeah. Like when I was a kid, as long as your foot hit the bed, you were okay for the day.
Right.
But yeah, that, like I said, I got ripped off one night, and I didn't even get a chance to get out of my bag, and they were there and gone. And I had a good friend of mine on YouTube. Used to do a lot of solo camping, and he went to a hammock, and he got beat up pretty bad by a gang of kids that came in to rob him, and he couldn't get out of the hammock fast enough, out of the bag, out of the hammock, and everything. And they just laid a beating on him, and once again, it just kind of reinforced the fact that, if I was laying in an open bag or with blankets on top of me in an open face shelter, number one, I'd be able to hear them or see them, and number two, at least they'd be able to react and not be strangled.
Right.
But in our community and our hobby, psychological edges are good too. Like tents give you a lot of psychological edge.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was asking earlier about hammocks. I mean, I like using a tent or just a tarp, but I try to incorporate different tarp configurations every now and again. Just depends on what the weather might be.
Yeah, I always stick with a plow point. It seems to be the most versatile for me.
Right.
I used to use a lean-to, but the rain used to blow in. It changed direction and it'd get you wet at times. And
Right.
I used to use an A-frame, but the animal still ran underneath the stupid tarp and, possums and stuff. There's nothing quite like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and seeing a possum look at you.
Right. Hissing
And,
at you.
Yeah, that's where you walk softly and carry new underwear. And then I finally got to that plow point. The rain don't come in, and I can back up inside it far enough into it if it's set up right to where I had enough room, and I liked it and stuck with it. But tents do give you that psychological edge that you're inside of something rather than you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, my wife and I mean, you know, she likes to camp, but just not, you know, we'll go to a campground. I mean, you know, when it comes to that, when she's with me, but we got
Right.
just for the two of us, we got like an 8-person tent, but you know, it just gives us enough room for her to make house, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
And
Did we get what, Heath? Or, yeah, Heath Webster from TA Outdoors Link.
I think he's asking about that pouch.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken, I was trying to type online. I said I just got it online somewhere. I'm not sure where I don't think she got it from TA Outdoors. It wouldn't. It would have cost quite a bit if it came from there, I'd say.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, like the one gentleman was just saying, you know, we had a pocket knife and stuff, and none of these folding tools and multi-tools, and
Right.
I've had quite a few of them. I don't see any place in the outdoors except for maybe fishing, or laid in a backpack for if you're out hunting or something, for multi-tools. I've had 3 Leatherman so far. I've had the old Leatherman. I had the Wave, and I had a Sidekick, I think it's called, or Sidewinder, something like that. They never held an edge. The Sidekick, whatever its name was, I busted the blade the first day I had it. And I wasn't doing anything strenuous with it. I was just, I was shaving on a little bit of plastic pipe, caught the blade the wrong way, and it just broke.
I mean,
The
I
Gerbers
use
I had.
Oh, go ahead about a Gerber. Go ahead.
The Gerbers I've had pretty good luck with, but Leatherman. And I had a really good, it was I think it was made by Swiss Army. Spirit or something like that it was called. That was a really good one. My son took a camp, and I don't know what ever happened to it. So. But right now, my multi-tool of choice is my Swiss Army knife.
Right. I mean, I carry a multi-tool as an everyday carry. You know, I mean, it's good to keep some type of knife on me at work and anytime, but I just keep it on a belt pouch. It's a Mossy Oak multi-tool, and it does pretty good.
Yeah,
And
you know,
it'll take just any regular size 1/4-inch driver bits on the little driver it's got.
Yep.
And I keep a mini mag light.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. Yeah, I got one of them here actually.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys, they say, why do you carry a flashlight every day? I said, why not carry a flashlight every day?
Yeah, and in my belt pouch, I have I think it's a Rayovac. I used to get them at Walmart for like $5. They're tiny little, one battery thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ever break down, like I broke down a couple of times, and all I had to do was clean the battery cables, but it was so goddamn dark you couldn't see them.
Right. Well, we've had times in the store where I worked where the electric went off. And of course, you'll have a little bit of illumination from the emergency lighting, but you still need some close-up lighting because there's one time the electric went off and our computers went down and we had to start handwriting tickets, because we still were accepting customers, and we had to get the calculators out to figure up everything, and this, that, and the other. You had to see something, so
Yep.
Everybody was glad that I had that flashlight that time.
Yeah, they come in. I mean, nowadays, I have a little, I don't even know what it's called. I got a little flashlight. It's about 2 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
And that stupid thing will shine 200-300 yards through the yard here like it's daylight.
Right.
It's one of them, the halogen bulbs, I guess it is, or LED bulb. It weighs nothing. It takes one battery and it gives you all the light you want to need. goes from a floodlight to a spotlight. I think I paid $4 for it online. For the size they are, they don't take up any more, actually less room than my pocket knife does.
Right. Scott here is talking about not carrying a multi-tool in the woods because you don't need a Phillips screwdriver. Well, no, I mean, I don't carry it in the woods often, but I do carry it to work.
Well, like I said, if you're out hunting or something, I've had occasions where I've knocked my scope off and I had to take the scope off the gun and I had to go home. Or re-sight it in or whatever. I usually carried a small multi-tool I used to have.
Right.
Just a cheap one. Just for that, in case I had to take a scope off or readjust something or whatever. And then I realized, I got the same thing with the Swiss Army knife because it has the flathead screwdriver on there. So that killed the multi-tool, back to the Swiss Army knife.
But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and probably wrap it up now, Tom. Yeah, it's about 26 after, 11:26.
Yeah. I won't be to
Probably
bed for
ready.
another 4 hours yet, but yeah. Other
I seen you
do-
yawning there.
I yawn all the time. I just,
I do too.
but
I
this
do too.
stupid Lyme disease that I have,
Oh,
it comes with insomnia.
right.
Probably last 2 years now. If I get one good night's sleep a week, sometimes I'm up for 2-3 days at a time because you just can't sleep.
Wow.
And then I'll crash and get another good night's sleep, and then for the next week I'll be going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 7, and crazy.
Right.
All right, guys.
Well,
Well,
I appreciate you coming on.
no problem. It was great having you. Great being here.
Yeah,
Thanks everybody
I'll-
in the audience too.
Oh yeah. I'll probably be doing this every Tuesday night, so anytime you want to come on, I mean, we'll have you every time if you want to.
Cool.
I'll just
Yeah,
know to
fine.
keep these headphones charged because that's probably the reason why we had the problem earlier.
You probably. Yeah, it's weird when you put headphones on because everything feeds back into your microphone through your speakers,
Right.
and yeah, it's a whole audio thing. All right,
It's
then.
not bad when it's not bad when it's just me, but when someone else comes on, that's when it happens.
Yeah, that's when they start talking through your speakers. That's when it usually screws everything up.
Hmm.
All right, then,
Well-
Heath. Well, thank you for having me over, and yeah, maybe we'll see you again next week then.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, night all.
All right. Good night, Tom. All right, everybody. Really do truly appreciate everybody showing up, staying as long as they did. We've gone 3 hours, I'm sorry, and 28 minutes so far. Still got 7 people in here, so if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'm going to call tonight. And we'll see you again next Tuesday, right here on Frontier Tuesdays. Surely appreciate it. Thank you, Mason LaChance, for playing your trumpet. Feel free to come on again next week if you got another song. Play it for us. Talk to us a little bit. Scott Howard, I appreciate you stopping by. CR, Creative Redundancy, thank you. Thank you to the Huntsman and Courtney Freeman. Thank you to Tom Keltish and Heath Webster. Thank you for stopping by. Anti at Jack, thank you for stopping by. Very much appreciated. But and the field guide, I really appreciate Hirsch for stopping by. But just remember what I always say, you got to have drive to survive. You all have a good night and a good rest of the week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.